Now, Kirkland, I know you might be a little salty about no background, but there is a plethora of backgrounds. I'm not sure if you checked since the Zoom update.
Are you
There's a lot.
saying I have a bad background?
No,
I
no,
was
no. I
completely
said
happy
you
with
might be
mine.
salty. I'm happy with it, but you're always like putting it over. But you can do lots of stuff. You can give yourself
What's our main news? Kong versus.
No, it's supposed to be Harry Potter because I'll get into that in a second. But
Let's get a good background here.
Doesn't look like
are you
Zencaster's recording.
So you're head nodding because we're live. That's terrible.
We're easing into conversation, but it's like, oh, I can't just be like, and we're live.
You got to do your blink or whatever.
I know. I should have done my eyes.
No, usually I say I'm ready for the head nod, and I think I was saying that, but then I got cut off. So I don't know. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Episode GV 370. What is it? 377. My goodness. So we're getting close to that 400. That is crazy. So it's a new Geek First episode. You know what that means. I am the Clown Prince of Podcast, Travis Snail, and I'm joined by the First Lady of Geek First.
I am not prepared for a name. I'm Jessica.
I thought you had a good name because you threw me salt when I said the First Lady Geek First. Like,
It's because I was going to use that one.
Were you? Oh, then I'll stop. This is twice in a row now. I'm just going to say the piece of shit Jessica is joining.
Yo ass.
I wasn't going to use it this time. I was going to use it last time. This time, I actually expected you to throw it to someone else first. And so because normally you throw it to me last, let's be honest here. So.
It changes. It always changes of who I got in a row as far as my square is going on. But then I can't say like the woman of Geek First or the girl because someone, you misogynistic. You just people by their gender.
You know what? I'm the leader of 2021. Jessica.
Oh, fuck, Carl. We'll get in that in a second. I'm joined by the man with no background.
It could be Taylor.
No, it could be, but like,
definitely you, Kirklin.
Oh, okay. I am the man with no background. The birthday boy, Kirklin Patzer. Don't forget, Travis, my birthday coming up.
I know you've told me a few times. The 29th, right?
No, it's actually tomorrow, 28th.
Yep.
Is it tomorrow? So, that sucks. So, because when we do WandaVision late at night, it's not gonna be your birthday anymore.
It'll be my mom's birthday, so we can
Let's
celebrate
call her
her.
in.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a funny story to tell, but introduce yourself, last person here.
I am the wisdom tooth Taylor Field. You know, in Kirkland, in celebration of your birthday, I'm gonna do some T3s probably.
Yeah, do some opioids. Slip me some. Let's get fucked up together.
So, to remind you about calling your mom in, I have a funny story on Marvel Alliance a few weeks ago. Chris had a guest on. He was trying to surprise me with it, but he accidentally sent the Zoom link to his stepmom, who he's just having previously conversation. So she clicked on it, and she just came, like, we were off air, but she came in, and I had no idea who she was. He's like, oh, sorry, that's my stepmom. It was one of the funniest moments of all time. Just his stepmom, just I have no idea, brought into this fucking Marvel podcast. It was so, I wish we were recording. I was so mad I wasn't. It would have been the greatest blue all time because she's just like, and then like Chris closes it right away. Like, sorry, that's my stepmom. Taylor, where can they find us on the interwebs before we get in this? We got lots of stuff we're talking about. You know, of course, I guess King Pong. That's me. I'm a master of Pong. No, King Kong and Godzilla, because Taylor had to make the main.
That's the talk of the town. That's what everyone's talking about right now.
We can debate that, but I just feel like from our group, when you even look at the past After Nines, I feel like we've had like long discussions based about Harry Potter, where I'm sorry, Taylor, but like when we got to Godzilla versus King Kong, most people are like, I don't think I'm watching that movie. So I don't know, but you are right. The Facebook was pretty big and everything like that. So I'll give you that. But where can they find us on the internet and everything we do?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us via internet connection in the search bar. Geekverse.ca is our home base. Check us out on our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Twitter, we're GeekVerseCast. Facebook, we're just under Geekverse. But if you tune into our Facebook page, you can find our fan-based community poll popping off right now based on the Marvel Legacy characters. And right now it is Hulk 2003 versus Carter Slade's Ghost Rider from 2007's Ghost Rider. As I said, like, I already know Carter Slade, he's just got one last ride in him. He's not making it past the second round. I didn't ever think he would, and that's okay with me. It looks like Kingpin beat Galactus, so that's good.
It looks like that's official.
Yeah, it's official. It looks like
I
he
would
beat
hope
him.
it looks.
What a weird way to say that.
Yeah, it looks like he beat him.
It looks like Trump
Oh.
lost the election.
Yeah, stop the count. But no, what do you guys feel as far as like do a quick glance? Do you guys? I don't know if we've done this officially on cast. Do you guys have any prediction of who you think is going to get the win here? My predict is still Blade, but I for some reason the way people have been voting, he's been up against weaker people, but I still have a sneaking suspicion that Chris Evans might pull it off. I'm not gonna lie. Chris Evans went like Human Torch. Every time he's been out there, he's getting major backed. And just because I feel like everyone loves Chris Evans in general, they liked him as Cap. So like I'm still sticking with Blade. I won't backpedal, but Chris Evans is looking good.
Just to, I guess no one's answering yet, but just to throw,
I thought I fucking
this,
lost my Wi-Fi.
just
What's going on?
to throw this in, I put a poll in the Geekverse community page, and the Human
Within the
Torch.
poll.
Yeah, the Human Torch has the most votes for predicted like to win, followed by Howard the Duck in second place, Hulk 2003, and then Blade in fourth.
Howard the Duck. Howard Duck's not winning this.
Yeah, so I haven't followed it too closely. I'm just not on Facebook that much, but
Mm-hmm. After that controversy you had.
yeah, that's right. When I had to delete my old account. It's the easiest way to delete your old posts. Just delete the whole account. No. I mean, my want would be Silver Surfer, but yeah, just sounds like Chris Evans got a lot of traction. So we'll see what happens.
What about you, Jessica?
I mean, so I was just looking at it, and I mean, I don't really know anyone on the villain side. Like,
No one from the villain side is winning. I promise you, they're not winning. It's second place.
I mean, my hope would be Blade, but I don't think it will be him. I would guess that it would probably be Chris Evans. My top three, though, I'd want Daredevil, like the OG
Mhm.
in there.
I would
But-
love that if that happened.
Yeah. So my hope would be Blade, but my guess is Chris Evans.
None of you guys think Bullseye is gonna get in there?
I
Not
don't
for the
even know
win.
who that is.
He's in Daredevil. He's the villain, you know. He's a good guy. But yeah, head over to Facebook. You can vote there. It's going for a few more weeks, and then we have the Godzilla Kaiju poll coming out, which Taylor's just frothing at the mouth to make.
I am, but I have to like properly plan this because like the first round for this was a month, and the second round and the third round are probably going to be like another month, and then that's not including the finals. Godzilla comes out in March, which is going to come pretty quick based on how many characters there are. That's at least 2 months for a poll, and then after that we were going to do, what was the poll after Godzilla we were trying to do?
I can't remember. I think we've just thrown out ideas as far as like one day Lord of the Rings, one day Harry Potter, one
Yeah, I
day
was gonna say
Nintendo.
Harry Potter's kind of popular right now.
I think we're saving Harry Potter for when Beasts comes out, unfortunately, next year. But it
And the
is coming.
game too, I
Oh.
guess.
And the game, yeah. Yep.
along with those retros.
Yeah, we're doing those retros when those movies come. I'm excited. That's gonna be a good one. So I'm not sure, Taylor. You might have to do a couple maybe double elimination weeks or something like that to do that. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to follow everything we do, follow what Taylor said, or go down the description below. There's tons of stuff where you can follow us. Go join our Discord. That's down there. It was popping off today. Again, talking about Harry Potter. There's a big controversy again about fuck Quidditch. Kirklin, you got to make a first time appearance in there. Carl was asking about you, that son of a bitch. But
It's so funny because I feel like the one time I noticed that we actually had that and it was popping off was when Hansi was like, I got my shirt. And I saw it. I'm like, nice. And then I just like closed it, I guess.
But yeah, well, the hosts are in there. Lots of listeners are in there. People from After 9, so it's a fun time. It pops up every once in a while, news and memes, and it's a good. I was worried Fanboy Clay and Brent from other podcasts joined. I'm like, oh, you guys aren't even prepared for the madness that is in here. You think you might know our fan base a little bit, but no, we're like I always tell them to compare it with the Deadpool. Everyone's like so professional. When I listen to our podcast, I'm like, we're definitely the Deadpool of podcasts. Like we're just out there. We're saying controversial things, stuff like that. But head over to Patreon as well. We just dropped, it's not coming out till March, but we just dropped our Man of Steel retrospective. And then Honor the Snyder Cut coming out in March. It's a nice 4-hour Snyder Cut. We're going to be doing a BVS commentary track and Justice League commentary track. That is all coming to Patreon, and just stuff up there early, ad-free, the whole shebang. Trying to think if there's anything else. After 9, check out, we just dropped that episode, the highlights on the main feed. You get the whole episode on Patreon, but it was tons of fun. Just again, a big thank you to everyone that joined. I haven't laughed like that in quite a while. There's some really good moments in there, and I think that's everything. We review WandaVision every week. Me and Taylor will be reviewing another Star Wars book here soon. I'm not prepared for that, so I got to make my Audible subscription. So I'm going to pay $30 for a book, but I'm ready. And and then check out the podcast network. 7 days a week, 10 shows, tons of good stuff popping off there. If you like a lot of geek stuff, it's there. I think that's everything. Is there anything to shout out? You guys have anything to go off before we get into news?
I really just, now that we constantly stream on like video services as well, really hate that everyone can tell how old I am because I sit here and yawn. It's like 8:30. Like, come on.
You're a mother, you know. It happens.
Takes
People
that,
get
yeah.
tired, you know. You just gotta start doing well. I was gonna say more cocaine, but you know, maybe not. Maybe in a couple of years, but
Yeah, you gotta kind of get some
A
other stuff out
couple
of my
years.
system first.
yeah, exactly. All right, Taylor. Let's start with Kong and Godzilla. But so I don't know what the thumbnail is going to be. I would maybe change it, but I don't know because my life I get busy and tired. I don't know if I'm going to be the case. The reason, that's why you watch the video version, folks, and watch on YouTube. We always on Facebook or Twitter, we kind of give out a link of when we're going live and then join us or watch the video after. I always say the best experience. Yeah, it's tougher to watch because you can't on the way home, but just lots of shenanigans like that just happened where Kirklin just turned into a moon. This is the thing. Like, Taylor, I literally sent you the text and everything like that. This is a classic GV rant. I'm saying everything we're talking about in the stories tonight, and then main image Harry Potter. And I just feel like,
Whoa, where did you put main image Harry Potter? Oh, there it is.
yeah, right there.
Didn't take long to find.
No. And this happens all the time. Like, Taylor, there'll be a bunch of news stories and the stuff that appeals to him the most, like he's done this with Predator before, stuff like that. Clone Wars, he just finds his way to work in. But we can start with that because I feel like there's more meat to chew on the bone with the Harry Potter stuff because we have more questions. I feel like we've talked about it more. But I know, Taylor, you've been waiting a long time to talk about this trailer. So what we're gonna do, we're talking about Godzilla trailer, talk about Harry Potter, and then we'll talk about the other trailers, Raya and the Last Dragon, Wally's Wonderland, or whatever the hell it is. So Taylor, I'll let you have the floor. What did you think about Godzilla versus King Kong, and why are you not excited?
So why am I not excited? Why am I like crying myself to sleep? Yeah, the trailer, I was so ecstatic. I didn't think it was going to be super early when it was, and it debuted it, turned it on, I was getting into the groove, and sure enough, that the one niche, the one like tick that just took me down was the music. It was like, what is this rap stuff? Like, I had like moments like, I am a god, like, no, get that out of here, get off my movie trailer. But that's all fine and dandy. It lasted like 10 seconds, and everything that just happened in that trailer was awesome. It was just so like spiritual successor to Pacific Rim, just visually just pleasing and aesthetically beautiful with all the lights and just being out I'm assuming it's out in Tokyo, and it was just the cityscape and the desolation. It just goes from that aesthetic of Skull Island to the aesthetic of being in Kong, and just it looks just like it is in like a Godzilla video game, which I am so all about. Just the scene that had me though is you have Godzilla and King Kong fighting on this man-made like aircraft carrier deck ship, which is like the coolest thing. Like 10-year-old Taylor was clawing his way out of me when I was watching this. It was so good. I want to get some action figures out and go in the bathtub and just play.
Oh my god, those two things back to back were very like cringy for me to hear. A 10-year-old's clawing out of my body, and I want to get in the bathtub with my toys to play.
There's a period between those two sentences, so
yeah, poor Madison. Yeah, I'll go. I agree with you as far as the music was god awful. I just hate, like, I don't mind rap. I don't mind R&B, pop, everything like that. I listen to it quite a bit. There's just times where it does not fit, and this was one of those situations. It was exactly like Assassin's Creed. I remember that trailer starting out serious, and then I'll ever have forever burned in my mind, I am a god, and Kanye comes in, and it's just like, why, if we're in like the 18th century, is Kanye popping off? Like, I don't think this is needed, but I like it. I actually watched Kong Skull Island again this week because Emily hadn't seen it. I actually quite enjoyed it a bit more than the first time. It's still like a very schlocky, like B movie sort of thing, but I'm looking at this to just enjoy, and the classic turn your brain off. Some people might go, oh, you can't enjoy a movie like that. that's all I'm gonna. It's just I'm gonna try to have fun with it. I'm excited to see these guys fight and everything like that. I love that Godzilla's looking like he's the bad guy. And Tiff's gonna go, whoa. And that's right. There's gonna be some reason, but in the marketing, that motherfucker's bad because everyone knows it should be Team Kong. If you're not on the Team Kong with me, Monkey Boy, you have a problem. Like.
Have you seen the memes? Come on, there's so many
There's
memes
so many
of
good
Godzilla
memes.
just destroying Kong.
Love those
Doesn't
memes,
matter.
too.
Doesn't matter. It's all going down. Memes mean nothing against that monkey's speed, So, it looked like that's what I mean. I don't know how to break it down. Like, it looks good. I think they tip their hat of like what the villain is, and I think the real villain is going to be destroying the cities and whatnot, and they're going to think that's Godzilla, but it's not Godzilla. But of course, that's going to make Godzilla and King Kong fight because they assume like, oh, you're bad and I'm bad, so. This is one that I do hope that theaters are open again in Canada, just so I could try and sneak away and see this one, because I do think this is one on the big screen I would really like to see, but I don't know if that's going to happen. March is still a little bit of ways away, but like if it's there, I'll mask up, I'll PPE up and everything like that, but if not, I'll watch it at home, and it's good enough, but I don't know how. I'm always worried when we see lots of the humans in these trailers, and I don't need much humans, but that always happens in this. So, Jessica, are you excited? Are you excited for this at all?
No. It's one of those ones that like, if it's on Netflix or a streaming service I have, I'll watch it, but I'm not willing to pay the $30 to review it. Wonder Woman, I was willing to, but this one I'm not. But I do want to share this great conversation that I had with Matt. So he sent me a meme for me to send to the group chat specifically of, it's Godzilla versus King Kong. He says, I swear to God, if they're both their moms are named Martha. So I sent this to the meme chat, and he says, so you can steal this for Taylor. And I was like, it's funny because that was already the joke on the cast. And then basically I said, but now that Mechazilla is in it too, he's like, I wouldn't know, haven't watched the trailer, literally know nothing about it. And I'm like, yeah, me neither. I'm just in group chats with Taylor, so that's all I know. And then he goes, Travis is probably a Kong guy. And I'm like, yeah, he is. He's like, let me guess, probably the only one on the cast last night. I was like, yeah, 100%. So,
yeah, maybe, but you know what? You're on the wrong side of history. Godzilla's clearly, you guys are rooting for the bad guy in this trailer. He's the bad guy, and you're rooting for him. Terrible. Well, so
we're not asking about who's right and wrong. We're asking about who we're rooting for. The right answer is to root for Zilla.
But no, that's wrong. If he's the bad guy and you're rooting for him, that's not good.
It's not his fault though. He's not his fault.
He's misunderstood. The classic.
Yeah, I won't lie. I didn't watch the trailer. I realized I was supposed to for this, but I was too busy watching Dawson's Creek. Sorry.
That's where it is on the priority list.
There was a slight look of disappointment. Taylor hit it pretty well.
I could handle you not going to see the movie, not paying the money, but not watching the trailer. Oh, at least you didn't have to listen to the music though. That was a plus.
Hey, what do you think, Kirklin?
Yeah. So I watched, what was the last one called? King of Monsters or whatever?
King of Monsters, yeah. That was Taylor's
so definitely,
Golden Geeks pick.
Oh, yeah. I watched that at like 3 a.m., just like grinding out all these Golden Geeks movies.
Fast.
Like literally just at the final minute that I pretty much could. I think I watched like 4 movies that night. But yeah, I did like a lot of stuff in that movie, but I definitely agree with you, Travis, stating that like this really is like a movie theater type movie, just like the visuals that they're having in like the trailer alone. I remember that was like one of my biggest positives from King of Monsters was like the visuals and like how great it actually looked, and just in this trailer they're really showing it off and it looks awesome. But yeah, the music was kind of not what I would have went with. Probably could have just watched this like with no music, like just like the sound effects of them rock'em sock'em robots. Definitely getting vibes of that King Kong or that Godzilla game, like when they're fighting in like Tokyo or whatever it is. That looked really cool.
And that game, right? The game we played many times in the 24-hour stream. How Dylan discovered Jet Jaguar.
Yeah, exactly. Like that, it just reminded me of like a map from that game. So that was really cool.
Yeah,
and yeah, like there was a lot of cool shots in here, but I don't know. I feel like my hype level is pretty set. I don't think it'll rise or fall, and this trailer. It didn't do too much to sway it one way or the other, but overall the visuals look awesome, and that's really, really cool. You need that, I feel, when your like your main characters are just giant, CGI characters, but they don't look too cringy, so that's good.
Do we have any main like human actors that are
Millie
big
Bobby
names
Brown.
in this?
And she looks 10 years older. I don't know how Stranger Things is going to go. Every time I see like a Stranger Things actor, they look like they've aged like 10 years. And I'm like, man, what is going to happen in the show? Like, are they going to like recast these kids? I guess it's a topic for another night.
First of all, no, they're not going to recast them. You sound like everybody fucking talking about Harry Potter. Everyone was like, oh my goodness, Daniel's getting old. But it's just like, they can age them in the story. They don't have to stay like they can be in high school. They can be in college now. Hang on, I'm still talking. There's no hand raise here anymore. We're not on Skype.
In Zencaster is. I just found out.
I can't see that.
Raise option.
But no, I think 10 years is a little. There's a clap. There we go. That's what we use. The clap as a hand raise. I think they've aged, but 10 years worth. That's a little over exaggeration. Because I don't know. But yeah, she's in it. Kyle Chandler, who you don't know him by name, Jessica, but if you saw him, you'd be like, oh, that guy. You've seen him in a bunch of things. There's some other people, but I'd say Millie Bobby Brown's probably the biggest name. So, yeah.
Ken Watanabe, like the last.
Yeah, Ken Watanabe. Yeah, I know. I was gonna say because
I didn't even see him.
No, if you remember King of the Monsters, you remember what
That's
happened
what
to him?
Yeah, that's right.
I actually forgot, to be honest. We're gonna watch. I'm gonna watch. I need to borrow Godzilla from you, Taylor, because me and Emma are gonna watch both the Godzillas before this. So, because we'll definitely at least watch it on HBO. Well, yeah, I'll watch it on HBO Max. That's what I was gonna ask. Like, Kirklin, is this something that you're like really wanting to see after this trailer, or where are you on this now?
Well, I did mention that my hype level is pretty much the same as it was.
Yeah.
Again, like, it's weird because I do really want to, like, I would love to be able to go out in the theaters and see it, but if like the COVID stuff doesn't really change, like this movie isn't like, oh, I'm just gonna go and risk it for this movie. Like I'm definitely not there.
Yeah.
But like I would like to see it in theaters preferably, but again, it's not like I'm trying to think of a movie that would really sell me on wanting to like, oh, I gotta see this. So like
Spider-Man 3 with Toby, probably, I bet.
Yeah, but yeah. Probably. I don't know.
I don't think you'd pass it up though. Like you say that, like unless it's like the world's over. Like literally, this is Toby, Andrew, and Tom all on screen together for the first time ever. You're gonna skip home and wait till you see like the Facebook memes of it.
That seems so far away right now that I'm just like, okay, hopefully COVID's over by then.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what was our most anticipated for this year? There was like 007.
I don't think we did that, did we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Yeah, so we did that, Dune, and Spider-Man 3.
No, it wasn't Spider-Man.
Yep, it took the spot because Toby. We're all like Toby. It comes out December.
It's supposed to come out this year. Okay.
It's not coming out this year, but that's what it says right now. That's what it says right now. So
that's why we weren't going to do the anticipated because we're just like none of these movies are going to come out.
Yeah, even Bond gets delayed again, so that's great. But no, I forgot to mention. Yeah, we brought up the like Neon City. That was really cool. It just looks video gamey, and yeah, they all look great and everything like that. I'm just wondering if the music choice was because I've talked about this before, where the first two, like all the trailers for the other ones have been pretty serious, and those movies didn't do the greatest. They're not bombs, but still, like, kind of. I think even Godzilla King of Monsters almost lost some money. So, like, I think maybe they're trying to change it up to be like, look, they're fighting and it's cool and it's badass. But Taylor, what do you feel about as far as it looks like Mecha Godzilla may be in this movie, or he probably is because there's an image of him? But how do you feel? Because this has been something you've been sharing toy images for months, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I imagine you're pretty excited.
I'm very excited because I mean the only other time I got to see Mecha Godzilla on screen was in Ready Player One, and that Mecha Godzilla was super like visually pleasing, so many levels.
What about the Japanese movies?
Like I mean like present day, like within like the last like couple years, like really. Like, with the technology that we have, like CGI.
I mean, North American, made by white people, you know?
Oh, Jesus. But no, to have Mechagodzilla finally as a part of like the actual MonsterVerse, I'm so ecstatic for it. They hinted at Mecha King Ghidorah in the last film, which had me hype. I didn't think that they would dive into that character or that monster and bring him right into this.
On me all night.
But I'm just super stoked to have Mecha Godzilla. That's like the bee's knees. They hinted again at it in King of the Monsters, but to show, I'll let Jessica say what she needs to say, and then I'll continue my rant.
No, I have a question for
Oh,
after. You can
okay.
continue your rant, and I'll change topics.
Okay. It looks like from like freeze framing the trailer, there's like another organization called Apex Cybernetics, I think is what they're called, and so it looks like they're painted as being responsible or somehow associated with making Godzilla go cuckoo. And with that orca in King of the Monsters, the acoustics that basically set these things AWOL and can send them on a rampage, it just seems like, okay, they could have some way of maybe screwing around with Godzilla, or it is likely that Travis says they obviously are responsible for Mechagodzilla, who is definitely in this movie. And they've sent him around, and people are thinking it's the actual Godzilla. So I'm trying to figure out the actual um, not consistency, the trajectory
Layout, yeah, like
of
the
this, because you see Godzilla and Kong fight on at least two separate accounts. So I'm just wondering if like that fighting in the city in the dark or whatever, is that like the last battle, or what is that kind of like going on? Because Mechagodzilla looks very different from regular Godzilla, unless they made Mecha look like he's supposed to be identical to the real Godzilla. But in the lore, they took the bones of a Godzilla, which they have in the first Godzilla movie, and they basically used that as the inside structure of a Mechagodzilla. And then Mechagodzilla is just kind of like goes rogue and just kind of turns evil.
crazy. Who would have thunk? Make a big monster, it's gonna turn evil.
So, sorry, I just realized that we have two Travises. Just kind of threw me for a sec.
It's okay.
Change your name
You
there.
can call me Travis too. I don't mind.
You can change your name on the Zoom, Taylor. Well, I
can
can change my name too. Yeah. Well, fine. I'll do it.
Anyway, I was just wondering on Travis Snell II, what your opinion is on the fact that it's been delayed, even though they just dropped the trailer. Now they've pushed it, even though only by a week, but still.
Is that a question for me or Travis?
For you, Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla.
Do you think she's asking me? Oh yeah, I threw shit against the wall when I saw it was March 31st. I was so pissed. I was like, get back in your room, kids. No.
The one who put their name to something related to Kong Godzilla as their freaking Zoom name is the one I'm asking.
I am pretty choked, to be honest, because it's like, yeah, why would you release this awesome trailer and say it's coming out this day, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, we're pushing it back a week. But you know what? It's fine. It's a week. I can wait a week. Some articles, which I found hilarious, they posted May 31st instead of March 31st, and people were pissed. They're like, what the fudgeroo are you doing here?
Fudgeroo.
I'll have to send it to the group chat. There's this great thing going around on Twitter where this guy's doing a trailer reaction to it, and he's watching it, and there's like the hardcore whatever like subtitles in the trailer, like one will fall, and it's going one by one, and it gets to fall, and he's like, fall? What the fuck? That's like September. But he see, I knew you guys would appreciate it. I sent it to GA chat there because it was on Twitter. It's like no laughs. Like, this is some good shit right here. Come on now. Like,
They're too
no,
serious over there.
yeah, sometimes, yeah. So it was I had to screen record the video or send it, but it was just like, it was so fucking good. But the rumor is, because apparently they haven't announced this, but Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming out the 25th. And then they put it the 26th. And I guess because Warner Brothers is so great at marketing and planning stuff, they're like, hey, we have a movie coming out the day before, and maybe you want to push that back. And that's probably for the right reasons. And to be specific, in theaters, it's going to be March 26th. And then on HBO Max, it's going to be, and VOD is going to be the 31st. So if you have a theater open and it's playing, you'll get to see it there. So hopefully that's why I'll risk it, Kirkland, not to see it in the big screen, but for those fucking early views, because you know what? Like, for people that don't know, when we got 10 and New Mutants out even a week and days earlier as a podcast behind the walls, it helps greatly. So it's one of those things that, like, I hope we get it. That'd be great. But it's tough because the 26th and 25th, that's the same day as Falcon Winter Soldier episode 2 and the same day as Justice League. Might be tough for me to watch Kong versus Godzilla. I will watch it, but if I have to watch a 4-hour Justice League movie, that's gonna take up a little bit of time. So I
would say it would take up at least 4 hours.
Yeah, you know, well, I got to pause and freeze frame and be like, what am I missing?
Bathroom breaks. Jeez, it's a long movie.
It's only an hour less than Endgame, you know. You make it through, you're at home, but
an hour
less than Endgame.
or an hour more.
What
sorry,
movie theater was I
Travis
in?
watched the extended Endgame version, the 5-hour mark.
Yeah, it's literally the whole hour is just these 5 guys like digging a grave for Tony, and it's just like it's really depressing.
Very depressing. Yeah.
Yeah. Taylor, anything else on Godzilla vs King Kong? I know you're excited. I'm happy you're getting this. It's coming out soon.
Yeah, I am honestly surprised. It's been, I think the last one came out, 2018? It's been like 3 years, I think.
For Godzilla King of Monsters.
King of Monsters. I think it's 2018 or 2019, I think.
I feel like, yeah, I guess you're right. It's probably 18.
2019. Okay, so yeah, so
Really?
19, 20. So it's been a few years. So that's
It's been so long since the last one.
it's crazy.
And this movie was supposed to come out last year too, so it would have been like within less a year.
Yeah, it got delayed a lot. I tried to convince Ruben to do the review. He's like, "Well, I'm busy, but like if it's just you and you need some support, then I can try." So he was there for King of the Monsters review. So we'll see.
There you go. And yeah, check out the feeds. We reviewed Kong Skull Island, reviewed that. We're going to do a retro for the 2014 one. That'll be fun. So yeah, check that all out. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to talk about some Harry Potter. But before we get into that, we're going to take our first ad break. This supports GV. This helps grow. This helps do all those good things. And if you don't like this, we'll head over to Patreon. You get the ad-free feed at our Phase 2 tier and a whole bunch of other perks. So just sit tight and we're going to be right back. All right, we're back. We're back. Going to talk about some Harry Potter, the true main topic. So this came out a couple days ago. I can't remember who reported first. It was Deadline or Hollywood Reporter, but it came out that HBO Max is developing a Harry Potter series. And like Tara said, it's a rumor. They did deny it, but like enough people reported it that was like the top tier ones where they're just denying it because they don't want to put out a press release right now. There's no details other than they're doing a Harry Potter HBO Max series. So Jessica, what do you think? I have some follow-up questions for everyone, but what do you think just right off the bat of just in general a Harry Potter TV show happening?
So, okay, so are we looking to get into like more details of, because like right now we don't know really anything. Like we don't know timeline, like if it's before, after, during. We don't know any of the characters. We don't know pretty much anything. So as far as there was some other things that I've read about, that things that hadn't really been considered at all. So there is a lot of stuff to consider about it. That being said, I think that a lot of people are taking Harry Potter, the name, and running with that when it's really going to be a Wizarding World series. But I just think that if it were to be reported that something's in talk to create a Wizarding World TV show, people wouldn't know what that means because that, you know, it's the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So that being said, there are a lot of different ways that they could run with it. I just found out this has pockets. Anyway,
pockets are good.
It's an exciting discovery.
How long have you owned this for?
Maybe a week.
Okay, that's fine then. If we were in months now, I'd be questioning
Years, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
And it generally just sits on this chair. I wear it like when I'm podcasting or I get cold in a meeting, so it's not like a. No, it kind of looks like Game of Thronesy. Like I feel pretty.
It's not quite Taylor's level.
Taylor throwing your Jon Snow. I don't want a jacket or whatever it is over there.
Want it.
Now that I know it has pockets, I want it.
There you go.
Anyway, so my thoughts on this are, I do think it will be interesting. I think that there's enough content that it can be made into a series, and there's lots of different ways that they could go with it. I mean, I think doing something with brand new characters in Hogwarts, you could do, 7 seasons with the 1 season for each year that they're in school. It doesn't, you could have it. I mean, the one thing they would have to be careful of would just be like the professors if they're doing it that way, such as, having Dumbledore, McGonagall, things like that. So maybe either making it in the future when Dumbledore is no longer headmaster or whatever it may be. But I do think there's workarounds for that as well. But I have other thoughts on it, but I'll let someone else kind of chime in and kind of get the general consensus, and we can kind of go from there.
Well, I was going to say, I agree with Jessica that they're just using the Harry Potter name as that, even though, and this is why I thought it'd be a bit more meatier topic, because, Kirklin and Tara all shit storm over me suggesting this in Lord of the Rings. But I do think if this is successful, and I'm saying 5, 10, 15 years, I do think at some point you will get Harry Potter, the series, as the TV show. When these people are old enough, they don't care. Even to me, Daniel Radcliffe, after this whole J.K. Rowling thing, has kind of already distanced himself, being like, I don't know if I need to come back. So like they might do Curse a Child one day, maybe. My theory is it sounds bad. I say this to Emily, but I think they'll do this when JK is dead. That's what honestly, I know it sounds bad, but then it's just like they kind of distance themselves from her. But I think one day they might. But the thing is, I just think that I was talking about this with Tin Rumi. He's another podcast host, and he's the same as Emily. I'm sure Jessica's the same. That anytime we get to Goblet of Fire, Emily's always like, "Oh, but there's this not in here. There's this not in here." And I hear that a lot with other books. I do that with Lord of the Rings, and that's where I feel like, to me, it's not a remake. It would be like you could flesh that out so much. So I think this is not Harry Potter, but I do think this is a trial startup to it, and I do think that's what's interesting with the show. If they do use teachers like a McGonagall or a Dumbledore, we could get our like first little seeds of, let's say they do a show that's fit, like it is about Lily, James, Lupin, Snape, stuff like that, and then they cast a Dumbledore, they could easily be the next series, let's say in 4 years, is Harry Potter, and you know who played Dumbledore there, he's coming back, you know, stuff like that. They could start to plant those seeds and see if we start doing other actors playing these characters and people are receptive to it, we could do it again and do it in a much different way. I do think it's going to be something different. I don't know what I prefer, because you guys know how I am with prequels. I like, if you were asking me, I'd rather just be a completely original story. And I don't know if like my problem with the Lord of the Rings series happening right now is it's a prequel. Obviously, I have a problem with it, but then it's like it's Elrond and Galadriel, and it's like, and something's forming in the forest that's evil. And it's like, oh, it's just fucking Sauron. Okay, so it's just like what we have with Hobbit. I don't know if I need that in Harry Potter. I don't know if we have like someone's coming or Voldemort team. Like, I don't know if I really want that sort of stuff, because it just feels to me too prequely again. I would want it far out. I would maybe accept if they do the young Snape show ever, and I know everyone memes about Adam
James
Driver.
just bullying him. Just
But
being an absolute
oh,
asshole.
fuck James Potter. He's a fucking swine, that guy. But like,
I think that
it's
if you do
tough.
it that way, yeah, it is really tough, because everyone has all these notions, because there's already Harry Potter where you're trying to match Dumbledore, and then not
Mhm.
only that, but you're trying to now match Dumbledore to Jude Law. And I think if you're better to go so far in the future where Dumbledore is not even headmaster anymore, you have a new headmaster and new professors, and it's just, it's completely just clean slate. Or even because it's Wizarding World, I mean, do something at Bo Baxton or Dumstrang, do something
that'd be
here
smart.
in North America. Even though everyone hates the nomage, it doesn't have to be a British Hogwarts show. But I do think that we will get a Harry Potter something, but it'll be when the Harry Potter that we know and love is old enough to be the professors. So, 10, 15 years down the road, like Travis was mentioning, when they can have, their little cameo as a professor, when there's new kids that can be Harry and Ron and Hermione.
Daniel Radcliffe's playing James. You know, you could do that sort of deal. Full
James
circle.
is dead, so probably not.
Well, he's in a couple flashbacks. You see his ghost not talk to Harry a few times. He has to look at some picture. It's like, look, it's Danny. But like,
I mean, if they're doing a series, then there's enough room for him to get some screen time in it. But
you like that name, Kirkland?
It's Danny.
Or what do you think, Jessica, about, like, you said way in the future? What if they go way in the past where like Dumbledore and McGonagall aren't even there? Like, you could even do like the first year of Hogwarts, like how the school was built, stuff like that.
The basilisk just fucking killing kids.
Well, sure, like that's what you
Fuck
could do.
yeah.
Like, I think that's what you need to do. My only worry is with the future. Star Wars does this too, where it's just like they're scared because they don't want to go past like the books or like the main continuity, so they're always like put in the past. So I would love it if they said, yeah, this is the years after. It doesn't even have to be about Harry Potter's kid or anything. Do it the years where Harry and Ginny haven't had the kid yet, right? Like, do it in those type of times. But I worry they would be like, let's go past, let's go to the back. And that's what I could see more as the formation of Hogwarts, or a year kind of somewhere like a few years after the school's been built, something like that.
I think that there's definitely potential there. See, the thing to consider with this, either way, if you go backwards or forward, is technology and how that's going to play into it as well, right? Honestly, now that I said it, I think doing the North American like wizard school where no one has any connotations of characters or professors or anything, just clean slate, start with that. I think that's the way to do it, because I think even to go in the past at Hogwarts, I think you'll run into all these continuity errors and things that people pick apart, because there is such a huge following. There's a huge following, and people have read the books and watched the movies religiously. And I think that, even just looking at how picked apart Fantastic Beasts are,
Yeah.
and you know, to try and go farther back than that, it's, I think, will just continue to create more problems. And the hard thing with that too is everyone knows where things end up.
Yeah.
You know that Hogwarts survives whatever hardship is coming, and you know that, you know, these are the houses and that the basilisk and things like that. Where I think if you're starting at a different school with people you don't know, you're wide open. Do what you
Well,
want with it.
my last 2 points before I throw to one of these two jokers is that so it's tough because, like, honestly, I wish they would just do, if it might not sell as much, and I agree with you about the American show. I do worry. My 2 points is, one, they might still go Hogwarts just because they want that nostalgia. They want what people know, so like go back there. It's kind of like in Fantastic Beasts when they went back there. Everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, this is great." The other thing is, though, I wish the show wasn't like, at the end of the day, isn't going to have like a huge mortal evil enemy. Like, I literally just do want a show of just these kids in school learning magic, doing stuff. I actually don't need, like we talk about all the time, a world ending scenario. I don't need a wizard that's going to destroy everything. I just want to see, and maybe that won't sell and everything like that, but I would love like the way like high school dramas are, but with Harry Potter. I don't need the full on dating, like Goblet of Fire sucks with Ron and Harry fighting a little bit. I don't need that, but like, you would probably get that. And that's what I mean. I don't know if I need a world ending situation, but I know what it is. I know that you have to sell a show. So there's, of course, going to be some sort of evil. So Kirkland Patzer, our very own Harry Potter. What are you thinking about this?
Do you live under the stairs, Kirkland?
Oh, yeah. That's where Shay puts him
do.
every night.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Get back in your home.
Master has given Dobby a mic. Dobby is a free elf.
That's how I felt when I got my webcam, finally. It's not just my stupid profile picture. Just doing cast nude. I actually have to like dress up.
Just a
Gosh.
shirt. Just a shirt.
Well, yeah, we don't know what's underneath.
Yeah, it's just a top. It's like when you get your grad photo and there's just like a clip on. That's what this is. It's not an actual shirt.
Oh, that was so disappointing when I got this. Like, really, this is it? Like, this is what we
Yeah.
do? And I hate my grad photo, too.
Yeah, so like it is interesting that we're getting this I mean, I guess it's rumor. Shouldn't put too much like
It's happening.
stamp of approval on it,
The
but
streaming wars are here. Every single IP that every brand has is going to get milked beyond belief. That's
Oh,
why we're
true.
getting like
Yeah.
13 fucking Star Wars shows next year, because it's like, here, buy Disney Plus. But it's the same reason why HBO Max is going to do so much DC stuff, so much Harry Potter stuff. Like, and they were fucking idiots for letting Lord of the Rings go. I'll tell you that much. Like, the fact that they let Amazon get that, they're fucking dumb. Like, I don't know how they let that happen. So
And look at how much drama that even this little tiny rumor that has nothing even attached to it, how much it stirred up the entire internet. There's no way they're not going to be like, okay, people are talking about this, like, we need to do it.
if
And I
it's
think
not already in the works, they're like, hey guys, this is a good idea. We should do this.
then they're fucking dumb and we should be working there. But like, and I also think you'll get, like, when we talk about the Lily James and Snape series, I think you will get that on top of this, on top of
Eventually,
other
yeah.
stuff. I think like Star Wars, they will go to every facet and be like, let's do something on this, let's do something on this, and this will be the testing ground.
Yeah. Getting back to just my feels on it.
Getting back to Kirkland Pass.
I feel like, and this is like same thing with any of these IPs, whether it's Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. Like for me personally, I feel like it's such a cop out if you just keep staying around the same like era. Like if we just go back to Hogwarts,
The
and
dark
it's just like,
times.
yeah, yeah, exactly, dark times, or like Lord of the Rings, it's just like Sauron and stuff like that. Like these are supposed to be like entire universes and like entire like just
Yeah.
like a whole new world. Like let's explore something. So like that's why I'm always asking for some Darth Bane era, Star Wars stuff, like some really like old Republic things that we've never seen on a live action screen before. Like because there's just so much source material that they could literally just take that from stuff that's already been. Again, I don't want to get into the whole Legends debacle on Star
Yeah.
Wars, but like even in Lord of the Rings, like there's so much just history there of like thousands of years that we could go back and do something just completely new. And I would totally love if they did that with Harry Potter. Just like seeing different types of creatures, and I'm not saying make it a whole new Fantastic Beast or anything like that, but just like in that world, like having like the OG wizards like Salazar Slytherin, you know, and like these
Yeah,
these
I like
names that
that.
we haven't really heard about, or sorry, we've heard about, but we haven't like seen firsthand. I've never read the book, so I don't know too much about what they talk about there, but I find it lazy, and like the fact that they just stick around the same era. Again, I understand that like it is a business, they're trying to make money, and like using the Harry Potter brand, something that's already been proven to be successful, and they know they're going to get at least some money like guaranteed out
Yeah.
of it. So I do understand that, but for me personally, let's get wild, man. Let's get weird shit going. Let's see things that we've never seen before. That's my personal wish. Whether we're going to get that, maybe down the line, but right away I could easily see them just, you know, see like what you guys were pitching, whether it's like Snape, you know, being a little nerd, getting thrown in lockers by James, you know, Harry Potter becoming the new professor, whatever it might be. I don't know, but I feel like that's the safe bet. And whatever, like whatever it is, I'm gonna eat it up. I love Harry Potter and I love that stuff. I love Lord of the Rings. I love, you know, all
You
like
you say you'll eat it up, but it's not like you're thrilled or like rushing out to see Fantastic Beasts, right? So in concept, you think
true. But
you're
the
eating
first
it up?
one, I feel like I was a lot more interested in, and then I'm
Yeah,
like,
but
oh,
then
this is what it is. Okay, I'm not that interested.
Did
But
you
Yeah,
like,
and
say
that's what
that
it could
you
take
haven't
a-
read it either, though?
sorry, what was the question?
You haven't read them though. You just said two, right?
Like Harry Potter? No.
So you love it and you eat it all up except for the books.
That's why they made the movies.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah,
the
exactly.
books. We don't need those books. No,
Yeah.
So
no.
then
I don't know
I
how to
just want to
read.
ask this because I'm the only one here that has read them. If I
Oh,
remember
okay.
correctly.
I've read the
Flex.
first
Best,
half
yeah,
of one.
best one out of all of us.
So I mean, because for me, I would watch a Harry Potter series that does follow the books 100%. To get a season per book, you know, that has all this information, even if it's just, you know, the pilot season, which is a very small book, was only 10 episodes, and then they continue to increase from there. But that being said, I'm wondering, you know, because Emily also mentioned, Travis was saying it sounds like that she would be interested in that. I don't think we're there yet, but I'm
Hmm.
wondering if the fact that I've read the books plays a difference in the fact that why I think that would be interesting and why you guys don't.
I think so, and but also I don't. I think what another thing Kirkland's talking about is stuff because like, so if they center around like the Harry Potter times, like what are these shows going to be if they're before or after? Is it before or after the movies specifically, like the way the Mandalorian is, right? It's clearly a prequel to Star Wars, or I think even though Kirkland came out before it, if it's before the books, but it's like we're gonna get to our own universe where the books are canon. I think there is like a new like because Kirkland, I think it's gonna tell like on initial you might be like, I don't know if I want like that series remade, but that thing I think you would definitely check out, and then you'd learn new things and things like that, and you go, okay, I've seen it this way. I think it's the same way with Disney Plus and Marvel. There's some shows where I go, oh, this definitely should be a TV show, and I think that it will happen. I think there's even more than because what there's 7 books, right? I think they could even get more than 7 seasons if they really wanted to out of that. Like some of those books are big enough they could, if they were 6 episodes, they go, oh, we're gonna make this like they did with Deathly Hollows. Like, oh, 2 seasons for this book and 2, you know. So, Taylor, you've been quiet. What do you think about all this? You know, we've thrown a lot, just Harry Potter in general, the books maybe being remade one day, and are you excited?
I am excited. I want Quidditch Camp as a series, 110%.
fuck Quidditch.
I think that would just be so
Worst
cool.
sport ever.
Oh fuck yeah! I'll be your beater.
You'll be my beater. Oh yeah, I'll get a
I was
team
so
going
happy.
on.
I was so happy in the Discord. Dilmus hasn't been in there in months, but he sure popped in to say "fuck Quidditch" with me. So I really like that. You know, shouts to
I
Dilmus.
missed that. I didn't see that.
Respect. Oh yeah, he hasn't been,
Um,
but he came in there, and I'm like, he never comes in here. He's like, yeah, for this I do.
Another series that I would really would like to see would be like the actual like accounts of the Deathly Hollows, just the 3 brothers, just kind of. I think that'd be such a cool like dark and horror like series at some point, just to do just them traversing, trying to cross this river, and then you have death stalking them. I think that'd just be so cool to see just how that would unfold.
That could be just a movie, though. I don't know if you get a whole series or like at least a mini series. Maybe I don't know if you get like.
We need one of
multiple
those
seasons.
limited series that they're doing, like for Obi-Wan.
Yeah. The other series you pitched in the group chat was the prostitution one. I really like that one as well. I think that'd be good in the Wizardly world.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on there. But so Taylor, you were somebody because you were just like because you talked about Lord of the Rings. Now you're backtracking like, oh, I said they wouldn't remake it, stuff like that. But you were just like,
No, I
you
wasn't
said they shouldn't.
backtracking. I said
You
they
said
shouldn't.
But the way you were inferring it to me felt like in all time. They shouldn't. They wouldn't. So that's fine. You can clear the air now. Why shouldn't they remake something? The same way, like, technically, the Godzilla movies you love right now are remakes. They're not remakes in the sense they copy and paste, but they took a different movie. They took a different movie, a different franchise, and then we're going to North Americanize it. That's kind of the same thing as a remake. And I'm sure there's remakes. You're going to be watching the Ron Turn movie in a couple weeks, right? That's going to be a remake. So that's the thing where it's like,
I wouldn't say it's a remake.
To reimagine, right?
Okay, reimagine. Sure, but what about, you could make the case for, this is the same thing when we're talking about the books versus the movies. What about the It series? You could say the TV show was done in the past. That was about the books, and then they did the movies. You go, oh, they shouldn't do that. They've already done that.
Yeah, but they weren't remaking. They weren't remaking a movie. That was just a TV adaptation that they did. So they just did a movie.
So same thing applies there. The Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, that's the movie adaptations. These would be the TV adaptations where you could do all the books, where you talk about Tom Bobbelon in Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Like, there's so much. That's where it's the same thing. So thank you for giving me that point, because I feel like you kind of shot yourself in the foot. Those are just movie adaptations.
I don't understand your point.
Suck it. No, you're like, well, the reason they could remake it because that was just a TV adaptation. So the same way the movies for Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, those are just movie adaptations. So Taylor Field of Geek First Podcast, what do you say to that? Because they're just movie adaptations. Do a TV version.
So are they going to do a TV version of the movies?
No, I think they would be of the book. They're not going to do, like, I think they would, like, Goblet of Fire, the whole, what is it? How many chapters do you think is the Quidditch World Cup, Jessica, in that book? Quite a few, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's, it's not just are you talking about just the Quidditch itself?
Yeah, but just like in general, to like what's in the book versus what's in the beginning of that movie. The book, there's far more to that, correct?
Yeah, and I mean, you get to know some of the characters and stuff, because Crumb does end up coming in, so you kind of get that feel for him and his character and things like that. And there's more build up. I can't remember specifically how many chapters, but it's definitely not like they appear. There's 2 seconds of game. There actually is some like playthrough, some play-by-play in the book and things like that.
So, in my defense, I just like, will they probably do it? You know, it's a high chance that they probably will. Do I want them to? No, because it's, in my opinion, why would you want to replace perfection? And sorry,
you're not replacing it. You're adding another dish. So it's just like, I don't understand how you couldn't like that one.
No, because you're saying like they would redo, and yeah, I mean, yeah, it's another edition, but you're saying they're redoing the novels for Lord of the Rings, right? That's what you're implying.
Well, not now. But I'm saying one day I think that will happen. You will get a 1 season of Fellowship of the Ring, because there's tons of stuff in that book. Same thing, Return of the Kings. There's a bunch of endings for those characters. Everyone complains about all the endings you get in the movie. It doesn't even compare to the book. You get to learn about how Aragorn dies. You get to learn that Sam goes to the island with Frodo. Like, also Gimli does. Like, all this other stuff happens. Sam becomes a mayor, stuff like that. There's stuff in the movies for both these franchises that aren't explored. So that's why it's not necessarily remaking the movie saying we're going to do that for TV. It's remaking them as far as we're going to do the books again, but we can spread out. We can do all that. And that's where it's just like, I don't like, it doesn't take away from the 7-8 movies you have now. They're not going to lock them up and say you can never watch the Danny Radcliffe version ever again, because what if you like it, you know?
Danny,
it's, I guess for me,
as an example, like, look at The Hobbit, like one little book they were able to take and make 6 hours of movies.
Oof.
Well, look at Fantastic Beasts.
I mean, that's not based off a book. So
it's off isn't a Fantastic Beasts a short story or something like that?
It's the book that Newt wrote.
They did put that book out though, because Emily does own it, but it's not like it's literally like just about beasts. It's like, it's a fictional book. It's not like a story book, like from point A to B, and it is written by Newt Scamander.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like their textbook that they use in school.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. That's not based off a book that's actually written. It's about, the movies are about him writing this book, and the book is the book that the movies are about him writing.
Taylor's just salty because I know.
No, I'm just so confused. Where we go? Where's this going?
You didn't let me finish. You cut me off. All I'm saying is that they look at The Hobbit. They made that into 3, 2-hour-long movies. I mean, that could have been a 6-episode series as opposed to just these big long movies. The same amount of time in the same book, and just been in a series format. I mean, it's possible to take a book and make it into multiple episodes.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
And so, I mean, that's the same thing for Lord of the Rings. I mean, they could make each one into 6 or 7 episodes and include a lot more details than what we got. I think that it will happen, and I think that it should happen. It just depends on when the time is right.
Like, Taylor, what do you prefer, the original versions or the extended versions of Lord of the Rings?
I'm good with either or, but again, like
That's such a lie.
Come
He's definitely
on.
said
So-
extended in the
come
past.
on. Have
So-
you seen the regular versions?
I
Come
have.
on. It
So-
cuts out so much.
it does.
And
it
that's
really
what I
does.
mean.
But let me
You can do it
finish.
with-
So again, will it happen? Probably they're going to remake it. Probably will be a TV series. I don't know. Probably. Should they do it? No. What I think they should do is they should tackle other parts of the timeline. I think that is like key. There is Lord of the Rings. You have tens of thousands of like years to dabble into. So why not dabble? And again, Amazon's being bold and they're getting their feet 1 foot wet, not both, but at least
No,
that's
they're not.
something.
No, they're not. They're getting a toe wet. They're just doing a
Get on
show.
the ankle.
The second
Get
it's
all the
about
way up to the ankle on 1 foot.
But see, that's where I mean, like when you say like they would be covering new ground because there's stuff like there is familiar stuff, and that's why I don't think it's in the next 5 years. I think 5 years plus, but there's stuff from the books you haven't seen before, and it is if you're just trying to think about what would sell a streaming service, those two things would. I think they will stay away from it for a little bit, but I just don't know why you're just so opposed to it. Like I guarantee you there's many remakes that you like, and that's why it's just like you would have 2 versions of it. You know, it doesn't matter because then if you like it, if you don't like it, then fine, you leave it alone.
How would
But
you feel if they remade the original Star Wars trilogy, though?
different because it wasn't a book. It wasn't George. If
So
you were
this
to
is
ask
only
him,
when it's based on books.
well, yes, because it feels like we haven't seen stuff before. But honestly, if they remade it, I wouldn't care because they're not gonna, unless George is gonna go fucking nuts and delete all his film footage like he usually does or something like that. At the end of the day, if they say, hey, for fun, we're gonna remake Star Wars, the old one's still there. It doesn't go anywhere. They pretty much remade it with the new sequel trilogy anyways, and we're all fine. Yeah, did some of those not pan out the greatest? Sure, but it's like, you know, Rob Zombie made a terrible Halloween movie, but guess what? There's new Halloween movies. You know, it doesn't hurt a classic Halloween movie. It's just there. You know, like, do you like the Friday the 13th remake, Taylor? I bet you do.
Ooh,
Oh,
Yeah,
he
and that's a
does.
remake. But why should you watch that? What's the point? They're covering no new ground. His mom dies. He kills a bunch of campers. Why would you watch that?
Well, I don't see it as a remake. I just see it as a sequel because it's not his origin story.
No, it is. Are you fucking kidding me? It is it is a remake. It's literally a remake. Friday
No,
the 13th
it's
is
him already
nine.
grown up and all that jazz. And
They remake the first 2 movies at the same time together. The beginning is all about his mom dying. My goodness.
This is these are 2 completely different topics. Remaking Star Wars into another Star Wars movie is completely different than taking a book and making a series out of it. I mean, this would be like you have. I don't know enough about Star Wars lore. I know there's Star Wars books and things like
What?
that, but I mean, I know, it's surprising. So I mean, that's like you could say the same thing about any single movie. I mean, they remake, you know, a new Batman movie every year, and you continue to watch it, and that's based off comic books, and each one picks new information to pick and choose from about
Mhm.
what they want to include, and you still watch it, and there's new Suicide Squads, and then there's gonna be a new Justice League, and it's just it is what it is. It's just remakes, but this is taking not just it's adding new information. It's not just a remake, it's a readaptation, it's a reimagination of it.
I think where I was inspired by this idea was years ago when Unseries: A Fortunate Event premiered on Netflix. Because I remember seeing the movie, and when they take the first 3 or 4 books and put that into one movie, it was like, yeah, okay, cool. Jim Carrey was fun in it, but other than that, it was a mess of a movie. It was just a bunch of scenes and set pieces. But then when you got to do the TV series, where they would literally do like 2 books per season, or they do like 3 episodes covering 1 book, there was so much time to flesh out the characters, the story, and that's when I was like, oh, you could do this with everything now, because it's not to me retreading the same ground. It's covering new stuff. Yeah, of course you're gonna have The Ring, and you're gonna have, you know, I Can't Carry You and stuff like that, but it probably wouldn't be. They would change some stuff up and things like that. You're gonna have Sheila, but like Jessica says, it's the same thing. We get a new Batman, but we're still excited for Rob Pattinson's Batman, right? It's just like it's a new adaptation, and by that point, it'd be a new actor, be a new director. You might be interested in. So that's why it's just like I don't think, like, maybe at one point in my life I was like, yeah, screw remakes, but it's like now it's like we could maybe get another good one, you know? And it's just like, because then if I already have 1 Lord of the Rings I like, but what would be bad about having 2 Lord of the Rings I like? I would not watch the series and be like, you know what? fuck the movies. I'm never watching that Elijah Wood piece of shit again. I'd be like, no, those are different because I also feel like the movies would probably have a bigger budget and scale in that sort of sense. And as far as battles, I feel like the books and the series, if they did that as a TV show, would be more character based and focused in that way and the little details and stuff like that. Jessica, Geek First podcast.
Yeah, I don't have a raise hand button.
The clap thing, remember the clap?
Clap your
Yeah.
hands. I used it to cheer on Taylor because I agreed with him.
Thank you,
So,
Kirklin.
No.
So this
clap.
isn't based on a book, but I mean, even just as an example, the Snyder Cut, I mean, it's literally, it was going to be made into an HBO series. They were taking a movie and making it a series to allow for more time for more information. And it was going to be a lot of the same scenes, just recut with a different director, and people were still going to watch that. People were still talking about how they could borrow HBO to watch it.
And now it's happening in a month. It's coming out with, and now even new scenes. They even let him go film new scenes for. They gave him $70 million. So
They gave him
Got-
$70 million to
visual. Well, because the problem was with the old cut that he had as well was the visual effects weren't done. So that was the biggest thing. You can't just have a guy in a
Tap
suit.
out now.
Kirklin's disgusted.
You can't just have. Well, but the thing is, you can't be discussed until we see the results of it. Because if it pays off, then it's like, well, that was $70 million well spent. If it doesn't, I agree with you. It's risky, but it like
How about they give GV $70 million to make our debut film, and then we can compare it to Zack Snyder's.
I'm gonna say our debut film, Podcasting Can Be Murder, will probably not be as good as anything Zack
I'm
Snyder
saying
directed.
if they gave us $70 million, I think it could.
I think we would have no fucking clue what to do with that money.
It would be like George going crazy in the prequels.
Oh yes, yeah. Here we just buy so much licensed music. Like, oh, Halsey's gonna be all over this movie. No, let's work with a $70 budget and work our way up. I was gonna ask this to Jessica next, then you guys can go. But do you think J.K. Rowling has anything to do with the writing of this? Because we've had two situations where, like, Cursed Child, no; video game, it seems, no; but then Fantastic Beasts, yes. And lots of people have said, well, if this is his first time series, how is she not gonna have her fingerprints on it? Because that's a big can of worms, and I want this answer from you after this next ad break, which we're throwing to right now. Okay, we're back. So yeah, what do you think about that? As far as, do you think she will be writing it, and if she is writing it, how does that go for? Because like at the end of the day, I feel like enough people still don't know about this. Like my parents don't know about this. They don't know about like her online stuff. But do you think just she'll be writing it overall?
I think that depends on the route they take with it. I think if it is something to do with Harry Potter and Hogwarts, I think for sure she'll have her fingers in it. But I think if they decide to go the route, like, going to a different school, that they might find a way to just, pay her royalties and her have no part in it, because there isn't that same lore and that same following where that she, has to be on the pulse of. I think that the main fan base, the people that are going to watch this, the majority of it, 70 to 90% of the people that'll watch this know about what's going on. And I think that they would be damn smart to stay away from her right now, because there are a lot of people who I've seen that are saying that even though if she has no hand in it, if she's getting a royalty, they don't want to be a part of it. So my thoughts are that they can find a way to just give her royalty and leave her out of it if they don't do something with Hogwarts and Harry, if it's just the world in general.
So my thing is that, like, okay, so there's all the controversy. I'll put that aside because that's like a whole tornado to get into. My thing is, I just don't want her writing because of Fantastic Beasts, because I think that she's a better book writer than she's a script and television writer. Now, you can make the case that if it's a television series like a book, it could be longer, more spread out. So maybe. I just, from what I've seen from Fantastic Beasts, where she's been the main screenwriter on those, I have not enjoyed those films. And I think those have been a major step down to the films before, which she had not no part in, but she was a consultant. They base all her stories, they bring her in, they talk to her, but she didn't write them. She didn't do the story by. Obviously, she didn't direct them. So that's my main worry of, like, yeah, there's all the politics stuff on top of that as well. But it's just like, if they bring her in right away, I go, I don't know. It's the same way. It's like, sorry, Taylor, I don't want to have this shot at you, but it's like the same way they say, oh, the guy that from Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdoms doing the Lord of the Rings series. I go, well, I'm less interested now because I think that was not a great movie, and now he's the showrunner. That's not a really good sign. So I'd feel the same way as this. That I think she has to somehow be involved. Like you said, there could be like a royalty write-off, sure, but I still think at the end of the day, she has to be involved in it somewhat because it is her creation. At the end of the day, they pay her and stuff like that. If she has to be involved in any way, I hope it is just a consultant similar to the way it was in the movies and not as much as she's there writing for a multitude of reasons. But Taylor, do you think that she will be writing this, or do you think it's going to go a different route?
I think she's probably gonna get George, to be honest. Like
George Lucas writing Harry Potter would be wild.
she's that would be, but she's getting George.
She's gonna
I
get
think
George.
I think HBO is like, oh, Mr. Allen, we'd love to see your scripts. We'll buy them off you for sure. And
Yeah, that'd be a great way. Yeah.
but I think either anything cinematic, I am inclined to say she probably would want to keep 1 foot in the pool, 1 foot wet. So just so she can kind of like have some creative control on it a little bit.
What's with you and people's feet being wet tonight? You know,
It's all about feet being wet. If she is not doing good because she's got some crazy social media stuff going off that she's not supposed to be going off, then I could definitely see HBO just being like, hey, we got all this Game of Thrones money that we suckered out of everyone from season 8, and we're going to give you all your royalties. So you never know. You don't know. I have no idea. Like this stuff, the Harry Potter world all came from her brain, right? So her brain obviously has deep insights.
and her toes,
And her toes, her one wet
her
foot.
wet,
wet
toes.
toes.
So
Yeah.
it's obviously her brain is like a deep archive of all this original information. And it's very different when you have these people in life like your George Lucas and your J.K. Rowling, these figures in life that all have this information in them of this cohesive story and everything you get. And when you let other people start pulling and picking that information and trying to tell stories, you get some cool concepts and such, but then you can also get some really jagged and messy stories that don't fully work off of the original piece that was made. And we've seen that in many things, and I think we've kind of seen that in some ways with Star Wars. In other ways it's worked, in some ways it hasn't, very, like, so to speak. But I just feel like if you have that original creator who has this information that you can pull from and source from, then I would use that. So that's my opinion.
That's where it's like I said, even putting the other stuff aside, it's like she to me is in a very similar position as George, where George made the original trilogy, everyone loved it, great, and she didn't make those original films, but they're her ideas, right? It's her world, like you said. But then she gets more involved with the Fantastic Beasts, the same way with George with the prequels, had more creative control, and then it kind of was like very split. I definitely feel there's more prequel fans than there is Fantastic Beasts fans. Maybe they'll be down the years later, but prequels to me have a lot more people that fight for them. Or Fantastic Beasts, I feel like everyone kind of writes us off. So that's where it is interesting. Do you do the route of, do you do the Force Awakens route where, hey, thank you for your time, George, but we don't need you? Oh, I thought you wanted this. But no, like, do you do that route or do you bring her in? And it is tough. I feel like they'll go I think they'll go the route of trying not have her involved for a multitude of reasons. But Kirk, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I feel like she'll still just be like the consultant title. I just have a feeling. I don't know.
Executive producer.
Yeah, like something like that. Just because, I don't know. It is a dicey situation, but it is like her original, like Taylor mentioned, like it all came from her brain. But at the same time, I mean, it all came from George's brain. And then at a certain point, you gotta hand the reins to someone else, George / JK. You know, like they might have just been drinking one night, getting all these great ideas for Harry Potter or whatever it might be, and then you wake up the next day and you're not as creative. Who knows? Like maybe like the creative spark of that world is kind of gone from their brains. But at the same time, you throw in some controversies, you throw in some other things, and like I understand why you definitely want to stay away from her, because I feel like people would actually be boycotting the film, like if she actually had like a big like thumbprint on it or something, her wet toe prints on it.
That's a new GV thing. Fuck the wet toes. Fuck, there's always something. Chris
But-
even asked me before my lines. He's like, "Why do you guys do this whole like from Kirklin from Geek First podcast? What's going on there?" We literally just did it once, and now we do it all the time, motherfuckers.
Oh yeah. I
Taylor,
do not want it.
Taylor, when I did the raise hand thing, did that just fucking move everybody for
Well,
you?
no,
Yeah,
like
I shifted.
It didn't
I
move anything, but like, yeah, okay. So how it is? So we have 4 squares. So you're
Yeah.
top left, Jessica's top or bottom left. Kirkland was bottom right, and I was top right. And something happened, and it just flicked Kirkland to top right and me bottom right. And I was like, what the fuck?
All I did
Bottom
was
left
raise.
on mine.
Yeah, all I did was raise the hand. Like I did the reactions, raise the hand. That's so funny. I'll put it down, see if that does anything.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
reverted.
Yeah, that's so funny. So now I've lost my fucking point. But no, this is the dicey thing, like you said, and this is where, like, I hate to be that guy, but if you are in the full-on boycott camp, even if you watch or buy HBO Max or pay for the show, she gets money for it. The same way with the video game, she's going to get money for it. So you walk a very fine line. It's the same thing that's happening with Ray Fisher and Flash. I understand people saying they're going to boycott the movie. You can do that. But if you have a problem with Ray Fisher and the president of DC Films, right? And you say, fuck that guy, I don't want him here. Every time you watch a DC film, unless you're illegally torrented, and if you want to do that, that's still illegal. But if that's your way of, hey, I want to watch it, but not support her, I guess. But that's the only way, because anytime you watch a DC movie, you support that guy. Anytime you watch or pay for anything Harry Potter, you support her. Now, the double-edged sword is why I try to tell people to make you feel better is it's not just her involved. Yeah, there's sometimes like, piece of shit Eddie Redmayne too. There's other people that are like, that are hard workers, that are on the crew, that are actors that don't have anything to do with that controversy. They're just trying to make a living or do something. So that's the way I kind of look at it. But there's always a fine line of who you want to support and who you don't want to support, right? There's certain actors, celebrities that go, you know what? This is too, like, I don't know how people listen to Chris Brown music anymore. I really don't. After everything that happened down for me, that's a no-no. If they play in the club, I'm like, this is fucking weird because this guy beat the shit out of a lady multiple times. So not for me. So that's where there's always a line for you. With J.K. Rowling, she can have these terrible takes and everything like this. For me, that's not enough to keep me from watching the show because I like that world and that stuff. And I respect the people that do. But then, like I said, don't say you're going to do it and then sneak around and still, if you pay for a way, that's the thing. Like anything, it goes to her. And that is the shitty thing, but that's just the reality. Kirkland Patzer for Geek First podcast.
So, like, does she get, like, because it was her idea originally, like, even if she's not attached to this new series, would she still get money? Because it's her.
Because technically, it's not the Star Wars way of like they haven't bought Harry Potter from her. It's not
So
like
it's still her. Okay.
It's still hers. It's like there's a partnership, there's licensing, but it's not like George where that's how they ousted him out is he sold it. Then it's like, hey, thanks for coming, but we don't want to use your scripts, and then they part ways. She could.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I see.
contracts there are. I think she's probably signed like some big long-term exclusive deal. But even then, let's say in something like 10 years it was over, she could technically maybe, depending on the contract, like go to somewhere else, like go to Disney and say, hey, make a Harry Potter, stuff like that. I think they have like a long deal. I don't know the specifics of that. I'll actually have to look in that once because I don't know, because it should be a long-standing relationship if she's done Harry Potter, the films, Fantastic Beasts. So that's quite a while. What, 1999 was the first one, Harry Potter?
Something
Right?
like that.
Was it 2001? Yeah, it was 2001. I went too early. So we're 20 years of that relationship working. So whatever contracts have been signed, they're pretty long lasting. So I think no matter what they do with her, as far as at least from the film production side, she's getting paid for it.
It's getting bank.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah, and like even like I feel like the small, like even if they didn't want to have her executive producer, try to avoid her, like it sounds like she'll be getting money either way. I feel like it could still see like a credit of her, like maybe at the very bottom of the credits, like original story by J.K. Rowling, like whatever it might be, right?
characters
So-
based on or world
Yeah,
based on.
exactly.
So it was 2013 that they signed a deal, and it
Mm-hmm.
included new movies, distribution rights to a television miniseries, and new theme park attractions.
Did it say, was there any years on that, or was it just like an overall kind of?
There was no years attached
Okay.
to it, but under the agreement, the studio said that the Harry Potter book will become the screenwriters working on adaptations for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Worked out well.
Yeah, so they said the movies would become the first planned in series of films. So, I mean, it sounds like a lot of this has been kind of talked about. The
Yeah.
miniseries. Yeah.
And,
So
and I imagine too that after Harry Potter, the phenomenon of the movies, this contract for sure has years. It either has years or it has a number of projects on it. If it's a number of projects, that could be fucking forever. That could be like, hey, she's with us till they make 20 projects. That could be till she's dead. Or it's like a year thing. And even again, with a year thing after Harry Potter, I don't think there's a way they didn't sign her for like 10 to 20 years, to be honest, because it's just like Harry Potter was so huge, those movies, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you lock that down? The same way it's different because they didn't buy it, but the same way Warner Bros. Just bought DC at one point. Instead of let's license these movies, let's just buy them. The same way Disney did with Star Wars, right? Instead of working with George, they just took it. So maybe that could happen one day. Maybe that will. Maybe that is the route. Maybe they do a big buyout, not even just to pay her off for this. Maybe they do a, hey, we want everything, we want control. How much can we give you to do this? And maybe that happens one day. But until that happens, and even then, she'll get a fucking fat check, like all those like Fox, everything like that. Like those sold for so much money. So yeah.
So, I mean, this is kind of backtracking to, I mean, kind of the Chris Brown kind of talking about how you can support people and things like that. And I think there has to be a point where you have to separate the creator from the content. I mean, Chris Brown is a little different. I mean, it's like 2 songs that, I don't have to listen to 2 songs when they come on the radio. Like, no big deal.
You look at your 90s throwback playlists or whatever it might be, early 2000s.
Ooh, just,
Early 2000s. Come on.
Just remove him off that Spotify. Oh no. But I mean, this one, I don't know any people with Chris Brown tattoos, but like I have a Harry Potter tattoo. I have a Ravenclaw tattoo, and I have all the each pillow on my couch is a different cover of a Harry Potter book, and I have Harry Potter bedding. Like it's a big thing for me. It shaped my life. I've painted one of the walls in my house to match it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, there has to be a point where I separate the content from the creator.
100%.
Not to get into too much of the controversy, but I do have a family member who is trans. So for me, I support that lifestyle, and I completely, if they're a woman, they're a woman. If they're a man, they're a man. So, for me, I don't want to support J.K. Rowling, but I also appreciate the content and I love the world and I want to be a part of that content when it comes out. So there is a level of kind of finding that as well, which is kind of super off topic of where we were going. But
no, I don't think it is, because it's something that will come up through, and it comes up all the time with all this stuff now and stuff like with the stuff with Kevin Spacey that went all down. Like for a while it's like like I watch these movies and stuff, but it's like how you do that, and it is just that you got to find your and that's why I always go for everybody. If you want to boycott, great. If you don't, great. All I say is like you choose that and don't tell other people what to do. That's always my thing. Because like I'm the same as Jessica, where it's like I agree that I don't support everything she says, but I still very much love that world, not as much to you and Emily, but it's just like it's something that I enjoy. But then there's just certain levels where it's like same thing with Chris Brown. That is a very specific thing because it's just him and his music. I can do that the same way. Like I talked about the story before, Chris Benoit, the wrestler that murdered his family. I can choose not to watch his single matches. It's tough if like he was the owner of WWE and all that went down. That's like, okay, what do you do there? But even then you go, okay. And now I've even started been able to watch some of those matches because I can go, okay, separate that. That was, actor here, person there. And that's what you're going to have to do. And like I said, you also got to think too, that there's other people that will be making these shows, acting these shows that are nice people, normal people, or they are even if they have a problem with some things going on in communities, they're not just going to go out of their way to like kind of rain on people's parades or in my opinion just kind of make it about them. So that's where I feel like you just got to find that balance, and I think people will, but it will be this show, it'll be a reoccurring topic the whole time.
And I mean, part of that too, you gotta like, you've had Emma Watson and Danielle Radcliffe, good old Danny. Like people have come out and spoken against her, right? Too. So I mean, how do you hate a whole series when, one out of the 200,000 people that worked on all these 8 movies is the voice for all of them? Like it's not the case, and it's not fair.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I do think like, even look, we said that we didn't want to get into this at the start, and we still did. So I think they will have to be careful making this show, because too much talk of her is a bad thing.
Yes and no, because I do think you're right with the hardcore audience, that 85 to 95% are definitely watching this. I think the mainstream have no fucking clue, and they never will, and they'll have no idea. Like that's like I just think there's because it all depends on what camp you are. Because it's the same thing as like I have to tell Kirklin about like, oh, they got to shoot new scenes with 70 million Snyder Cut, and we follow some of this geek stuff. So it's like if Kirklin didn't know about the Snyder Cut, there's no way my dad knows about that, and there's no way my dad knows about J.K. Rowling. Now J.K. Rowling made some headlines, but it's like. I think it all depends on the camps you follow. So I think the majority of mainstream people that love Harry Potter, whatnot, they'll have no clue. They'll watch this. They'll get excited for the series, like everything else. The same way with Snyder Cut, I feel like people still won't know, like, what is this? Like, this is a new director's cut. Like, I think the mainstream won't know. So I don't think they'll have too much of a problem because by the time this show comes out, it'll probably be years now. And maybe if she doesn't say anything, stuff like that. So I think with hardcores, yeah, that'll be a big push and pull. But people like my parents, my sister, won't matter to them. You know, like it will matter once I tell them, but I mean, like if they had no idea, they would just have no semblance of what's going on. Because if they don't have a Twitter account or don't check a Twitter account, you didn't see no controversy. You know, my mom just got Facebook last year, so it's like before that, she'd have zero idea of any of this stuff going on. You know, and that's where it is. Like, there's still tons of people like that in that generation, or even just some people that they said in our age group that don't follow certain websites or certain people. You know.
Like this guy.
I was just gonna say, like, if you guys don't know the details, we can get into that off cast. But Kirklin and Taylor, do you guys know all the controversy?
You guys told me, like, I don't even think it was on cast. I think it was just like,
no, we didn't.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been on cast.
Icebreaker.
Yeah, because I like, again, like you just mentioned, Travis, like I am one of those people. I jumped off Twitter. I am just not in the news.
You're online, but you're not online.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm a peer offline. That's what I am. You could label me as. But yeah, like if like it is good to be in the loop and all these things. But like I just would have missed that news because that's just. Other than like for the podcast and stuff in my own social circles, it's just I guess that type of controversy just never came up. But like you're mentioning, like my mom is on Twitter. She was actually, thanks for reminding me, because she was popping off on giving you shit because you had another typo on one of your Twitter posts, and I'm like, I would edit it or something, but I'm just not on Twitter. So
well, I'm just waiting for Twitter to make a fucking edit option. It's been a system for how many years, and they haven't made a fucking Twitter button. They can fucking ban the president off the platform, but they can't put a edit button. Are you kidding me now?
They like controversies. They like people getting canceled. They like not being able to go back and edit your stuff.
That's exactly it. Yeah, delete those tweets.
Yeah. But yeah, like
What about Taylor?
Oh yeah.
Know?
Mecha.
Yeah, Mecha Godzilla. I knew it was something to do with apparel, and that was like the very limit of my knowledge of what it was, because I know it went further than that.
Apparel?
Remember that's how it started with those shirts. That's how I heard about too. I forgot. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
That's the only thing that I was aware of with it, and I think we talked about it more, but like a lot of that kind of stuff, like I hear it from you guys. Like I don't.
Taylor's too busy in his Bionicle meme groups.
Yeah. I don't go out like seeking.
Cracking open a cold one with the boys.
Yeah.
I don't go like. I don't go out seeking things like, oh, what did J.K. Rowling get up to today or stuff like that. Like, so like you guys are like my main source of like. But
it's the same thing when we talk about After 9. You see this whole controversy in the Lego groups fighting. We have no idea.
That's true.
I could tell you the controversy is happening in wrestling right now, and you guys have no fucking idea. And that's where it just comes down. If you're following what's happening, then you're like, this is the biggest thing that's happening.
No,
but then everybody else, it's just like, oh, that happened, and then they move on because it's not their franchise or their IP. They just kind of go away, and that's where it's interesting. And that's where I do think maybe even then, if she's quiet for a few years and the show comes out, it'll like not blown over, but that kind of people have maybe moved on, or it's like the wound is a little healed over and something like that. And maybe she just doesn't say anything again. But
I'll pose the question. Like, has she like said like, yeah, I 100% like strongly, I support what I said, or is she just like, oh, it's kind of.
If you ever, I don't know if you'd ever want to read it. She did this huge, like, I'll say manifesto of like, no, it was super negative. Like I don't want to get in the full thing. I see somewhere where she's coming from. I think she's just
the old guard.
Kind of, and I think there's just some angles where it's just like unnecessary. Like there's just some battles you don't have to get into. There's some fights you don't have. Like there's just some stuff about like the white people that go around talking about being worried about like us being suppressed and white racism. That's just a battle I'm never gonna fight. I don't. That's not
Men's
anything
rights activists.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's not. And that's where I kind of feel with her. It's just kind of like, what are you doing? And it's just like there's so many people in the career, even if you have like these kind of crappy views, I just don't understand like why do you even put it out there? Why don't you just sit back and enjoy your money?
Chardonnay, just getting loose.
Yeah, write some more Harry Potter and tell people in your inner circles. But I never understand it. And I just some people that I think that's kind of it too. It's just kind of like where's your place in all this? And I think it's one of those of like when the people kind of like keep doubling down and you're like, oh no, here we go, and then it's just you know. Well, we went on for a while there. So there we go. No controversy can happen at all with Harry Potter. So we'll see. We're excited for some sort of show. Will we talk about it? Let's move on to some funner, lighter-hearted stuff. Taylor, how excited are you for Nick Cage's Willy Wonderland? I'm not sure if you guys watched the trailer, but if you guys don't know, this movie is coming out in February. We think we're going to do a watch-along if it all works out, if it's going to VOD, and we'll probably invite our patrons as well. It's Five Nights at Freddy's with Nick Cage. He gets locked in a animatronic museum. The things come alive and they start to attack him. He has to get his way out. Taylor, our Nick Cage resident, how happy you? And you didn't even respond to me about that story I linked you in today on Twitter about the new movies and with the rubber suit.
Again, I do my Twitter pop in, like I'll go in for like 15 minutes a day just to see like if my name was dropped in the GUA chat and see what's going on.
Oh yeah, they're always trashing you. But no, like the thing is like there's a movie where they break him out of prison. He has to go kidnap this crime lord's granddaughter, and he has like a rubber suit forged to his body. And if he doesn't get them back in 4 hours, he like explodes or something like that.
That sounds amazing.
This is Nick Cage. Yeah, this is a new movie coming out too with Nick Cage as well.
Oh my gosh. I thought that was some like 90s movie that
I love
no
that
one
Nick Cage is doing
talking
this.
About.
Honestly, Travis, I feel like
Like
we could reach out and we could get him like a role in our movie.
If we have a $70 million budget, hell yeah.
I think
it's all going towards him and that. Yeah. Actually, who knows? Sometimes I think he's the entire budget. This is the plot. Prisoners. This is of a different movie that's coming out. Prisoners of the Ghostland follows a bank robber freed from jail by a warlord to find his granddaughter. However, he is strapped to a leather suit that will self-destruct after 5 days unless he returns his granddaughter.
That sounds so
And that's
good.
what he's doing. I was so hyped by the title when it says Prisoners of the Ghostland. I was like, oh, he's doing a fucking really wild movie. It's still wild with the leather suit, but I was expecting a lot more. But then he also has like a like this collar. After like, hang on, it'll focus. That's the bomb. Is this collar and everything like that, and it'll blow up after 5 days. So
Marvel is desperate to get Nick Cage as Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah, but what do you think about Willys? Because you and I have been hyped for this for a while.
Yeah, I remember when we discovered it by accident. We were like in the studio, and it's just one of those things. Just you found it, and it was like, what the heck is this movie? And yeah, we got the trailer, and I can't believe it. Originally, it was supposed to release October 2020, and obviously with COVID, they just delayed it to February 12th. And I am so ecstatic for this movie. Again, Five Nights at Freddy's live action. He doesn't say anything in the trailer, and he doesn't have to, because he's like doing dance moves, playing the arcade games, and like it's funny because you see these possessed animatronics, and it's just you know it's gonna have that humorous wackiness, because that one ostrich looking motherfucker like thinks it's like getting the edge on Nick Cage. And then what does Nick Cage do? He breaks his pool cue and just starts beating the shit out of it, and its eyes like widen. Like, it's just so good. And these kids are having like, or these teenagers are trying to have like there's like a insinuated sex scene that goes on. Obviously that doesn't go good because it's crazy. And then it's just awesome. It just looks so awesome. I can't wait to see how this story unfolds, because clearly he's just trying to get his car fixed, and he gets roped into staying overnight in this pizzeria, and he just goes on a murderous rampage killing these demons. And you get the cops coming in here and these kids. Oh my god.
So it's funny because each year it feels like we've had some sort of Nick Cage gem. A couple of years ago was Mom and Dad, which was crazy. And then last year we had Color Out of Space, which was fucking just awful. We nominated for worst movie this year.
Down.
That was thumbs down. So we have this one. I think this will be more Mom and Dad. Like, I love / hate that there's like they just rip off Watchmen. I'm not sure if you caught that, Taylor, when the girl's like, he's not locked in there with them, they're locked in there with him, and they literally just ripped it off from Rorschach and Watchmen. It's just like, okay.
Oh, I didn't think of that at all.
It is that's what it is from that. It's from the graphic novel. So I we're gonna hopefully do the watch along. I think this is gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be. Oh, and then we also did last year because COVID. Remember we did that fucking Elijah Wood movie, The Trust. Remember we did that for Netflix and Fail. I forgot we did that. So yeah, because of COVID, we'll be watching it kind of over the streams and whatnot. That's why, like I said, we're gonna invite the patrons or After Nine crew if they want to join. They'd have to spend some extra money to watch this movie, but for me, it's kind of worth it. I think it's gonna be a really good time, and I think we have a fun time with this. So I'm very excited to see this. I can't. Taylor, do you know the official date on this?
February 12th.
February 12th. Oh man, it's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's crazy. So we're gonna have to do WandaVision and that all together. Cool. Well, maybe we'll do that like on a Saturday or something, so we can kind of make sure everyone has the free day and night off and stuff like that. So. Jessica, were you scrolling through the trailer there? Is that what I saw you doing over there? Or have you seen this trailer before?
I just watched it while Taylor was talking. So it was kind of funny and interesting because I wouldn't have probably picked up that Nick Cage didn't actually say anything. But I do find it funny that it is actually classified as a horror movie on the website.
Oh, yeah.
Not comedy, which it looks to
Oh,
be.
no, of course not. This is like The Room where they're going to say like, oh, yeah, it's a serious horror movie. But then, no, we know what they're doing. We know what they're trying.
I think it'll be entertaining to say the least. Like it looks like one of those ones where it would probably be a Netflix and Fail, but like a fun one to watch along. Yeah, depending on what the watch along cost is. Do we know what this comes out on?
No, we're in uncharted territory right now. I'm hoping Cineplex because I got some points built up, so I want to use it on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for a watch along in this. Feels like it'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Get some Cineplex popcorn coming in.
Oh, it was so good last week, guys. It was just like orgasmic good. Like they just fill it with so much butter. Oh.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm been thinking about it for a couple days now, so I'm looking for an excuse. This movie
I don't think
looks
I've
like an
had
excuse.
I don't think I've had theater popcorn since Shay worked at the theater.
Has Travis frozen for you guys? Or is he just like
He's just like so thinking about the butter. Just so like frozen in his own world. Oh, he's back.
I'm back. Kirklin, what do you think about this?
Yeah, no, I just to reiterate basically what you guys said, it's gonna be such a fun like watch along movie. Yeah, like it seems like it's just gonna be a fun time. This isn't one like if I was in the podcast, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'll gotta save the date for that one. But I think it's gonna be a hilarious watch along. So I'm excited. The trailer was really good.
Good Valentine's Day movie. Comes out right in
February 12th. Isn't February 14th Valentine's Day?
Yes, it is.
That's my sister's birthday, February 12th. There you go.
You got-
My whole family's birthday
Yeah, your
is
whole
on this
fa-
cast.
Yeah, really. We're gonna have a Kirklin-a-thon with your family there. But last one, Raya and the Last Dragon, coming to Disney Plus March 6th on Premier Access. So it's doing the Mulan thing where you got to spend the $30. So I'm gonna start with Kirklin.
Yeah.
Is
Right on
this
me.
one I'm gonna ask because break the fourth wall? I did see that your lovely lady liked the trailer today, so I would assume she liked that. So
Ooh.
that means, are you possibly having to spend $30 on this? And if not, are you wanting to? Are you waiting? And what did you think about this trailer if you saw it?
Do you want to do an ad break first before my thoughts and opinions?
Obviously,
he
of
does.
course, we're gonna do that ad break right now.
Oh.
Give it a second. Now we're back. You gotta, because you know why I gotta give it a second? Because as the editor, I gotta see when I'm editing this track that there's a nice pause, in the
I
middle, and then
see.
I can throw it down. I should probably just start writing them down. That's probably what I will do in the future. Write down the times. But
We're new to this. We haven't
We're-
been doing this for years, so
no,
we don't
no,
have
no.
our systems down.
We're not going on half a dozen years. Not at all.
Yeah, so Raya and the Last Dragon. Yeah, I feel like the other movie I would compare it to would be Mulan for like that $30 VOD release.
What would you compare it to?
Mulan?
It's not like
Okay,
you
yeah,
said
that's good
Mulan or Mulan.
Mulan, her sister.
Mulania.
What are you looking down your feet for? What are you looking down your wet toes? The answer's not down there. It's in your
He's
noggin.
got his notes down there.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I was looking
When
down at
Taylor
this.
question, when
That
Taylor
fun little
questioned, you're like,
device.
Oh,
is
it's
that?
his little music board.
It's my music board. I've been doing theme songs for while we talk. No, I'm kidding.
Good thing you said that because the audio listeners just heard you say you're looking down at your fun little thing, and
It's because he doesn't have pants on, remember?
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. You were talking about your pantsless, and he's just fucking going to town during
like,
this whole
hello.
cast.
Yeah.
Just batting his shit around like a bird in a cage.
Oh dear.
Ray Last Dragon.
we
Did you
talking
like the
about? Yeah, Ray
trailer,
and
and are
the
you gonna
Last Dragon.
buy it?
Yeah, I feel like this has definitely got more hype than Mulan had for me. For like a $30 purchase. The animations just look so gorgeous, and it looks amazing. I'm really hyped on this movie, so I could definitely see me spending $30, especially if my lovely ladies, liking our trailers.
Lovely
You
ladies.
put plural. Wow. Shay, I hope she's not listening to this. Hey, I'm gonna have a guest over. Hey,
Yeah.
it's gonna feel weird at the beginning, but trust me, no,
My
Taylor.
mistress, my girlfriend, and my wife.
Yeah, and then all your family's birthday parties as well at the same time.
That's right.
Taylor, what about you? Because you took the plunge into Mulan. You took the plunge and bought the premiere access. So are you gonna be doing that again? Because I swear I thought you're like, unless it's Marvel, fuck that. I think that might be a quote, but this is Pixar. Obviously, we all love Soul for the most part. It's a Golden Geek nominee. We all have good things to say. This is another Pixar movie. Are you dropping down? Well, and remember, it's not just $30 for us. What was it again? Canadian?
It's like $44.
Yeah, because the conversion.
$44.
Yeah,
Oof, okay, I'll wait.
That extra 14 bucks.
$14, that's the popcorn right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I am. It's tough because is Disney gonna be like, oh yeah, you can pay $44 now, or you can wait like a month and a half and you get it for free?
It was
regular on
3.5
Disney Plus?
months,
Was
not
it
a
three
month
and a
and a
half
half.
months?
Yeah, for Mulan, I'm pretty sure because I think it dropped in. What was the date that it dropped for you? Wasn't it August?
Mulan.
Because it went live in December for everybody.
This is
So
March 5th. Or
Yep.
sorry, you're talking about what are
the
you talking
Disney
about?
Plus. Because remember they
Okay, it
delayed
came out.
it.
It came out September 4th, so about
Okay,
like 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 months. Yeah. So they probably do the same.
I'd wait 3 months. I've already spent my $44 for Premiere or whatever. I don't need to do it again. Yeah. Again, watching the trailer though, I really like it. I like the animation style. I love seeing some. I'm big on dragons. Godzilla, I'm all about those dragons. So, again, I love the
Well, Puff.
animation style.
16-year-old
Are you a
dragon.
Puff guy?
16-year dragons. Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah.
I gotta Google Puff the Magic Dragon. Why am I drawing a blank?
Oh my God! You don't know
What
what Puff the
about,
Magic
I'm
Dragon?
I'm more of a Dudley the Dragon kind of guy.
Dudley the
I am too,
Dragon?
but he's making a drug reference. You fool!
What
Oh,
about
that
Dragon
Puff.
Tales?
Oh, I'm not a Puff the Magic. Oh, Dragon Tales is so
I wasn't
hype.
saying a drug reference. That's what Puff the
Puff the Magic Dragon. You weren't saying that. That you were. Oh wow!
Talking about the
That's a
actual
fucking
Puff
straight
the
edge
Magic.
person.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it, but I don't want to pay $44 because if I were to go to the theater, it would be probably like $20, and I have probably coupons lying around too. So
I doubt that with you. You guys are always getting popcorn and stuff. It would be over
me,
30
I'm
bucks.
when am I
Yeah.
out? No,
You
I
and
go. I
Madison are
bring
always getting
smoked
stuff.
salmon into the theater. I'm not bringing popcorn.
You're fucking criminal. You should be locked up.
That scene in Scary Movie, which just got the ribs. That's totally Mecha Godzilla over here.
Caught you on candid film. I
Yeah.
caught you on film.
So the main voice for this show is Rose.
Yeah, Kelly Marie Tran. Yeah.
Not other than, I mean, it seems like
Jessica with the fun fact there. I thought I was. I wasn't sure if it was
looking it up
leading
because I was like,
yeah.
I don't recognize any of these voices off the top of my head, and I'm looking, and a lot of people, I'm like, I have
Yeah.
no idea. Like I recognize Sandra Oh.
Oh, cool.
So other than that, I mean, there's probably people that you would know, Travis, because you're more into the names than I am.
Look at those guns. No. Yeah, maybe.
Wong from Doctor Strange is in it.
Yeah.
And some guy from Lost.
You're missing Aquafina too.
Daniel K or something like that. Oh, Aquafina's in it.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, she's the one who was in Crazy Rich Asians too, apparently. And Gemma Chan is in Eternals. Apparently.
Yeah, she's also in Captain Marvel. Yep.
Alan. Yeah.
Alan. That's all I thought about. So we got the cast. Are you paying for this, Jessica?
No.
Oh,
You
okay,
got
there
the
you
cast.
I mean, so when I first watched it, I just kind of skimmed it, and then once again, while you guys were talking right now, I just went and watched it, and it looked more interesting when I skimmed it than when I actually sat and watched the trailer.
It's not
Sorry to
great.
say, yeah, no. Um, I mean, $45 is not. That's that's a stretch. If I were to go to the theaters, if it was just me and Matt, it'd be $25 to $30. So I'm not gonna pay
Gas
more.
time, you know.
I'm not gonna pay more than that to watch it.
It
When I
takes like.
watched,
Sorry, go ahead.
well, when I did Wonder Woman, it was, I ended up paying $15. I've used my points from Cineplex, so that's not happening again. And so it was $15, and me and my family watched it. So it ended up being cheaper than going to the theaters for a movie that I would have been interested to see anyway. This one, yeah, it looks fun, but it's fun enough that I'll wait to watch it on Disney Plus when it's included in the membership that I'm paying for.
Yeah, gas time all depends where you live. I know you're gonna make the case, but I still think 2 tickets, gas time, and if you got to buy snacks, that's easily $40. It's easy $40.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, just for $40 for the price of the movie alone, I mean, yeah, you're saving on the gas time, but I mean, the trick is just eat before you go to the movies. And then usually there's a movie theater within $3 worth of gas from any distance. There's 2 movie theaters near Kirklin. There's 2 movie
Okay,
theaters here
so
for us.
I hope next, like when we saw Friday 13th together and you Madison got snacks, I hope that you next time turn to Madison and say, you know what, we should have ate before, we should have done this. I'm gonna turn to you guys and say
Did
the
we
same
get
thing. 'Cause
snacks?
yes, we did. You all stood line together.
But that's part of the experience of going to a theater, right? I mean, for $45, if I'm getting my tickets and my snacks, that's a little different than, and the theater's paying to heat, like renting this movie isn't paying to heat my house. It's not paying to keep my lights on like it is a movie theater.
That was a strange connection, but okay. I'll
I
go
was
with
trying to connect the dots.
Well, just saying, to spend this money at a theater, I mean, you're supporting an industry through more than just the production of the theater. You're paying for the employees that are running the theater and their electricity and their lights. I mean, why am I paying just as much, if not more, than I would to go to a theater for less of an experience?
Because
Especially for like for me, yeah, I got a massive TV, but if all you got's a little 40-inch TV, it's not the same.
Well, I think it's the same way you talked about though with the Wonder Woman purchase. As far as that's why I think in America, sure we get fucked over because conversion, but in America, $30, that's easily 2 tickets. And like you said, you watched it with your whole family, even if it's just you, your mom, and Matt. You saved on you used your Cineplex points, but still, you even bought in the real world. If it was working, you bought 2 tickets, you got one for free. That's the thing with this $30 thing is like for me and Ray last week. Let's say my kids were older, I bought it, and then I have Emily, my 3 kids, and instead of going to theaters, that's losing out so much money. So that's why in real time, yeah, sure, maybe they wouldn't do this, but in COVID, they have to account for the people they're losing out on because yeah, you're paying for the experience, and what's the difference? You don't get that now, but it's like, well, if they were just to charge $14, they'd lose so much money because like that wouldn't be happening in the real world. Like all of us here would be going to see with our significant other very likely. So that's where they got to account for that. It's they still got to make a profit. I think that's the thing for me. It's like that's why it has to be that way. It's not just because like, well, is this COVID what we do? It's like they don't want to fucking be in the red and all this stuff, which they are already in a lot of stuff, but
And I mean, that is the difference too. For this, I mean, Wonder Woman, you're not going to get people who are bringing their 5 and 6-year-olds to this movie. Whereas Raya the Dragon, I mean, that would have been a movie where you're going to get your 2 parents or, one parent and their 2 or 3 kids. So it is a different dynamic of who they're trying to market this to. And like you said, it would be a different dynamic for you to rent it if Gwen and Logs were old enough that they were excited about it and they were saying, oh, I want to watch this, I want to watch this, whereas right now they're not quite at that point. So for you it's like, okay, well, is it worth $45 for me to review it on the cast?
Yeah, I won't be paying for it. Yeah, I won't be watching it. I don't think I will because I think the kids can wait. They're not enough of being anticipated for it, and I still question why they didn't flip flop this and do this on Disney Plus. It makes Soul the purchase one. I feel like Soul had a lot more heat behind it, and a lot more people have been willing to pay for it. But they're gonna try this out and see because they got to decide what they're gonna do with Black Widow, and we'll see then. Because I think they will just delay it, but if they want to, then they're gonna go this route and see what we're gonna do. So anything else on this trailer? Thoughts, things like that? No.
Looks amazing.
Looks amazing. There you go. Let's talk a little video game news. I wanted to just get this out of the way quickly because I know Kirklin Patzer's a fan of James Bond. What do you feel about IO? They said that James Bond, they're possibly doing a trilogy, but they're basing the character design off no previous actor or anything like that. Just going to be something new and refreshing, I guess.
Yeah, I'm super down. Honestly, I think that's so awesome. I think that's something that I've been wanting for, but not realizing I wanted. IO is the Hitman group, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel like that's such a good pairing. I love their like world design and level design in those games, and I feel like, yeah, in Hitman you're taking people out, but like James Bond takes people out too, right? So
Yeah.
um, damn it, Travis, you lost my concentration. I was fine.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, like I feel like it's just such a good pairing. And I'm really intrigued, so I'll be following this one definitely. And like to keep a brand new do you call it an actor if it's not real person?
Yeah, I guess character. Well, character. I guess
like the Tomb Raider thing, right?
Yes.
Like the same thing. It worked so good with Tomb Raider, so I think it'll work good. Make him handsome, make him look good.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, where I've said before I'm a big fan of the developer, and then I'm a fan of this choice. I think that's a smart way to go if you're gonna want it to set apart its own. One, you don't gotta tie to any franchise, and two, I think it's just smart to, if you're trying to make this is the James Bond game and this is the definitive one,
Yeah.
well, you have your own look and you go get a cool voice actor, and that's about it. So I thought it was pretty cool that came out. And I think they're making smart decisions, and that I'm very excited because I'm too busy to get Hitman right now. I think Dylan bought it, so I'm jealous that way. I'm just too busy to buy it.
I
But
saw him on there.
yeah, that is a game that I will be buying at some point in the near future because I'm very excited, but I got lots of shit going on. So finally, well, not finally, I'm not sure if anyone has any other. Well, I guess there was one news I forgot. Jessica, if you want to talk about movie news, I forgot. You can rant now about Kevin Hart or Borderlands because it's still kind of video gamey. So there you go. We tied it in together. So Kevin Hart has been, what is he? He's been cast as Pie Face or something like that. Mud Roller. What's his name?
Roland.
Yeah, Roland, right there.
How do you butcher that?
Steaming three-coiler.
I had no idea who his name was, so I just because I saw someone. Is there another character named Slapjack, or is there something
Claptrap.
Slaptrap? So I saw that, so I was like, well, these are some crazy names.
Claptrap.
Oh.
Slaptrap.
That's the porn version for sure. Slap those cheeps.
Okay, so I guess I'll just take this and run with it. So Kevin Hart who is notoriously known as, comedy
Dramatic
actor.
Oh, comedy, right? Yeah, comedy, right.
I would not classify him as dramatic. And he has been cast as this character who is very serious, like very beefy. Should be cast with someone like Dwayne Johnson body type. Sorry to say,
His whole career just getting compared to that guy,
Well, like, I don't know. Are they gonna put him on stilts and like a bodysuit? He's not the right choice in my opinion. His acting, his resume doesn't match what it needs to be. He doesn't look the way that the character is supposed to look. I think it's a wrong choice in many different ways. I'm probably the most invested in this. I mean, my son is named after a character in this video game. I have a tattoo of this video game. I've painted another one of the walls in my house after this video game. I am severely disappointed, to kind of put it mildly.
So I'll take the devil's advocate route. I know nothing about this franchise, so it's a great devil's advocate. I will say that on face value, it's not great because I feel like when you cast Kevin Hart, you know what you're getting with Kevin Hart, just that type of shtick and everything like that. The only thing I'll say is the producers were like, you're going to see a side of Kevin Hart you've never seen before, which maybe that's true. And everyone can change. This is where you can shake your head, but there's tons of comedic actors that can go out, Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, they can go out and change how you perceive them. They can do one great performance. It is tough because I don't play the games, but I also feel, like you said, there's still CGI. I guess for me, the size and the look doesn't matter because I'm that type of person that's like, well, people say Wolverine has to be short. He has to be like 5'5". You got to get like a really short guy to play like Wolverine. It's like, no, Hugh Jackman worked out fine. And Hugh Jackman was the same where he was this Broadway guy that everyone shit on, was like, oh, he's going to be an awful Wolverine. And it worked out great. So I'm not saying you don't have a reason to be worried, but that's the only devil's advocate to say maybe, yeah, they might not get the look right, but I do think, at least for me, the essence of the character is right. And maybe he did audition or he performed and they just said, you know what, he killed it. Or it's just, hey, we have an IP and we got to put a bunch of names to it. And that could be it, because we don't know. It's tough because video games movies have not hit their stride yet. I've not always said, but since The Witcher, I've said, like, this is the way you do it. It's TV series, in my opinion. Movies work for few and far in between, but if you really want to make a successful game property, I think TV series is the way to go. That's why they're doing that with Halo now. Hopefully that works. Witcher, other things like that. So Taylor, you're someone with some Borderlands experience. How are you? And you said you love Kevin. That was the first thing you said, love Kevin. So are you excited for this?
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's an actor's job to be able to act in all sorts of different scenarios. And I mean, yeah, there are some actors over others that get noted for certain roles that they're more prominent in, but at the end of the day, actors are actors, and I think very, very successful actors can show their true quality, a chance to show their true quality.
A chance for Kevin Hart to show his true quality.
That was the audition room.
Yeah. So I think this is just, again, it's an opportunity for him to switch it up, and I'm willing to give him that benefit of the doubt and see what he's capable of. It's unfortunate that it has to be with something that's like a prized IP, like a Borderlands or a video game film adaptation that usually they have a bad rap. It would have been nice to see him try to do it in like another film that's not like a huge blockbuster, like break in the box office kind of film. But
do it over
low-key.
there.
Yeah, just to kind of like make people like Jessica, those diehard fans of Borderlands, feel more comfortable in their pick. So at the end of the day, it's definitely going to be a gamble. You know, people are going to have to go in with hopefully some optimism that he's going to deliver. But I think when that first trailer comes out, that's what people need to see. They need to see if is he going to be the comedic or is he going to be the serious route.
That was my point right there, because then you talked about like, oh, he should do it somewhere else. The reverse is if this ends up being a big movie, if they can make it a big movie, a big franchise, whatever, and he does it here, then everyone notices and take note. The same way, unfortunately, he didn't get to have much of a career after that was Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. When he was cast, everyone was like, nah, fuck this guy. He can't be the Joker. And then all it took was that first trailer, and everyone's like, I'm in. This guy's looking great and everything like that. So it could be that. I personally don't know if Kevin Hart has that second gear. There is a movie he did with Bryan Cranston. I can't remember the name of it, but I think Bryan Cranston plays a paraplegic or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was more dramatic, and people did review him well. And that I have not seen it personally, so I can't say, oh, it'd be great. But it is one that I would say maybe watch if you were just to want to see him do a bit more. I'm sure there's some comedic beats in there, but people have said that's a more dramatic side, and he did very well. So that could be it, but it is. And the only other saving grace is you have Cate Blanchett there, who is, I could make a strong argument, maybe the greatest actress currently right now, maybe of all time, at least one of all time. So she's of good merit and good note. So you have her. So that's the only hope you have. Kirklin, do you have anything to add on this? Because I'm not sure your history of Borderlands or anything like that.
Yeah, I've like scratched the surface, I would say. I played a little bit of Borderlands 2 with some friends, but like other than one like session, didn't really get too into it. Yeah, this is definitely an interesting situation where I feel like no matter what happens, there's going to be, you know, I mean, I guess you could make that argument with anything that really comes out. Like there's always going to be those people that are just not happy no matter what happens, because it's just it'll be different from what they really liked. But it's weird to say because I'm not too invested with this series, but I'm like optimistic, or at least I think of myself as an optimistic person. So I hope that it does work out really well, especially for fans like Jessica of the series. You know, like I hope they do really like the character and it does work out, and it's not just like the one Borderlands thing that we get is just a write-off, like, because that sucks. Like if it was I don't know, I'm trying to think of, let's just say like
Assassin's Creed.
Don't put the idea in his head, you son of a bitch.
Well, it was a one and done, right? Luckily, we're in the Netflix.
Should have went with Warcraft.
Yeah, Warcraft 2, fucking awful.
I don't know. Let's throw out, if they make like a League of Legends movie and it comes out and it's just absolutely shit, and I just like throw up at the sight of it, I would be pissed off. And if that's what happens with Borderlands, I'll feel really bad for.
Well, look at Mario. We all forget, but look how terrible that movie is. We've actually, I'm surprised we haven't retroed that one yet.
The
but
live
that
action one? Is that
Yeah,
what you're
that's
talking-
the
yeah, I
movie
don't
that
think I've
came
ever
out.
seen that.
Oh, we're gonna retro it one day now, but it's like that was one that came out was just so awful. I was like, how do you do this? And then
Yeah.
now it finally took decades for Nintendo to be like, we'll let you make an animated Mario movie. But after that, they're like, no more movies. Don't ever do this again. So
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I hope it works out for both Kevin Hart and like the film and the fans. So
I think you're muted, Jessica, or I can't, oh.
my subtitles are off. I don't know what's going on.
No, I don't hear you at all there. We're gonna have to say bye to Jessica. No, I'm joking.
How about now?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm back?
Yeah.
Okay. My microphone still says it's not picking me up, but if you guys can hear me, then...
Strange.
So, how was the house with a clock in its walls received?
I think that went the way
I
of the
forgot
dodo
about that one.
bird.
Well, I'm just looking at this director.
Travis.
Travis froze. That's how bad the movie was. He just froze and
Such a good
smirk.
face.
So, I mean, this guy, for his directing career, I mean, he's got like that, Death Wish, which, if I remember, was also not received well. Hostel was kind of the only thing that was somewhat okay, and then Cabin Fever. Everything, I mean, it's not really got a lot going for him from what I can see,
What, Eli Roth?
or what he's directed. So
I've-
he's director on Borderlands.
I don't know about. First of all, before I got cut off there, the fucking House of the Clock and the Walls. What a stupid fucking title. But, I don't. Is Borderlands kind of wacky and zany?
I mean, kind of.
Eli Roth is the guy you want if you can't spend a lot of money. That's the way I want to say. Like he's one. I guarantee there's lots of directors like maybe an Edgar Wright that we watch, Scott Pilgrim, or someone like Robert Rodriguez who does the Spy Kid films. You want some of that type of kinetic energy. Eli Roth has had that in times of his career. He is very popular. He has a very cult following. One day we're gonna watch Knock Knock, and that's one of the best worst movies of all time. But it's all style. It doesn't he doesn't necessarily make movies that are bad. House of Clock on the Walls, I don't know about that, but there's movies that are just like you either like his style or you don't. So I actually, from what I've seen from Borderlands, think he's a good fit, to be honest. But I don't know. Like he's still not the greatest director, and I haven't watched all the stuff. But I think he is not a bad fit for on the outside. There's worse people you could have.
So maybe my hope should just be that that Kevin Hart isn't the only bad thing, that this whole movie is just an entire flop, and then I don't feel quite as disappointed because it's not just.
Well, I think you should have some hope. You gotta have a little hope, as Harvey Milk says. But like, I would expect the worst, hope for the best. I'd expect it to be the worst video game movie of all time, and then whatever it is, it could be better than that. Your expectations can be higher, and that's what I would say.
I don't have high hopes for it, honestly. And I mean, I'll glass half full. I mean, if the movie's bad, my son's name continues to stay unique.
There you go. No one, yeah. Well, I'm not sure when it comes out, but I'm sure you'll be seeing it. Taylor, you're gonna see it, right?
I'm definitely gonna see it. I mean,
You
Kate
love
Blanchett,
Kevin.
we got Kevin Hart in there. Yeah, the only thing it needs is some Nick Cage, and then we're golden.
He actually probably would fit that universe.
Oh,
Jessica,
yeah.
maybe not.
Oh,
He
he
can be Slapjack, that guy, right? That was the guy's name.
That's
Slapjack.
Travis's porn name, Slaptrap.
Slaptrap. Right.
I
Slapjack.
You got
wouldn't
caught in the
be-
slap trap.
I wonder if The Rock wasn't cast as Roland because they're casting him as Brick. The only person who would probably know what I'm talking about would be Taylor, but put it out there for pondering.
I hope not, because I'm so fucking tired of The Rock and Kevin Hart doing all these goddamn movies together. It's like I wanted to see it, and now it's just like,
Hey,
yeah,
my parents would love that. They love those. They love that duo. So
you're not wrong. I'm completely wrong because they are money duo. It's just like enough is enough sometimes. Like even in fucking Hobbs and Shaw, which people don't care about here, but like it's a Fast and Furious spinoff, and then just randomly Kevin Hart's a part of the fucking adventure. It's like, are you fucking
Is he
kidding
really?
me?
Actually,
Yeah, he
does
makes
the
a
Rock just,
cameo.
like,
and
pull
it's
him out of his
Surprise.
backpack or something.
No, he makes a cameo and he's like he knows him somehow, and then he's part of the team for a little bit. And it's just like fuck off.
That's
It's
cool.
just like
I'm excited.
No,
now.
it's not. I don't need them together in every goddamn movie. Not cool enough for you to go watch.
They have
it,
to.
so.
They have to be on a set together so they can stand opposing each other with their phones, doing their like Twitter
Yeah.
videos or whatever,
Yeah.
like shit talking each other.
Instagram lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just you and me, Taylor. That's just us, but like less rich and buff. Okay.
Less
Any
rich and
any other news? We have our Knights of the Old Republic news, but anything else to quickly shout out? Going once, going twice. I'm surprised.
It's my birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, Taylor's
Don't
Kirkland's
forget.
birthday tomorrow. When this releases, go wish him. Everyone in the Discord, wish him a happy birthday.
I will
Wait,
see it.
wait. While we're on the topic of Discord, why have I not been given the GV mod tag?
I saw that actually. I'm like, why me above Jessica? She's highly
Like, I'm a little insulted. I'll be
Well, you
honest.
Can I
see,
give
Taylor's a
you
little
the rights?
sexist. That's the thing. So
I can't even
I don't-
remember because
I
I,
don't
think
think I can
it
give
was
you
either
this.
me or Dylan that set this up. I think Dylan helped me a long
I think it
time
was
ago.
Dylan. It was Dylan. Yeah.
Me and Taylor. The GV
All I
mods.
see is that. Do you want to know? Do you want to know how I got these scars? I
Yeah,
didn't even see who's a mod.
That's hard to look
Oh,
at.
I'm a mod. Nice.
yeah,
nice.
everyone but me.
Mod status. Nice.
It is, and Taylor, it is tough though to say that Dylan's a mod, or Dylan helped you set up when Dylan's not a mod in the group there. So,
He's a
you
no.
know.
He's a mod. It says
He's a
he
mod.
is.
He's a mod.
The
It's
green,
everyone but
the
me.
green rating, yeah.
Jessica
Oh.
has been given mod status.
Thank you.
Why is he not with the three? Oh, because we're
'Cause he's
online.
offline.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
There is
Dylan, go
Feige
on.
status. I don't know what that grants, but
Oh, I want that too, please.
That's all I could give her. I couldn't give her the GV mod status.
Oh, oh, there you go. If anyone's listening to this, go message the Discord and say, "Hey, I got to this part in the cast. I got to the near end of the cast when you guys were talking about this." Knights of the Republic, Star Wars game. It's rumored being made. Not too much details other than it's not EA and it's not BioWare. So the last thoughts, I just want to get your guys' opinion. Jessica, I know you don't have anything to add on this, so it won't be that long, or you can leave. It's up to you.
Wow, just throw me to the dogs, eh?
No, I'm just saying you left last time we talked about Star Wars video games, so there was a precedent for it. So I'm not
The
wrong.
slap
in
trap
assuming
with
this.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
slap trap over Slapjack is my guy.
The reason I
Slapjack.
left last time is because you guys were like, "We're just gonna stay up for WandaVision anyway." I'm like,
That's
"Oh, this
true. I
this
forgot about-
conversation's gonna go on for a while."
I mean, that was a good cast. Kirklin, obviously we've talked about this before. We're big Knights of the Republic boys. This gets us excited, whether it's a remake or a new game. But all we heard is that it's not EA and BioWare, and that the developer would surprise us. Do you have any suspicions or any wants of who it would be?
Oof. Remind me, like, what Star Wars game was BioWare?
Knights of the Republic.
Oh, like the OG, like
Yeah,
the
the
OG,
OG
2, I
yeah.
guess. And
Yeah,
then,
and I guess
was there
the
any other
online
ones?
one, maybe they did that, or maybe EA just did the. Taylor, do you know who did the online one? The online Knights of the
I think that was
Republic?
BioWare.
Was it BioWare too? So yeah,
Okay.
it's not them anymore, I guess. So because they've had a kind of bad luck release recently with Anthem and the last Mass Effect and stuff. So it kind of makes sense
Right.
that maybe it's not with them.
Yeah. I mean, like you guys were talking about it in the chat, but and I'm sure Taylor's gonna go off, but like the Ubisoft pairing, I feel like it's not out of the question for sure. For my want,
Here, I'll ask you this too while you're thinking. When it says surprising, do you think it's surprising the fact that it's a studio that hasn't done a big RPG? So it's like, oh, they're doing this, or it's surprising as far as, oh, it's a big, like, I don't
Yeah.
think it's Rockstar. Don't no one quote me, but it's something like that. Like, oh, that is
Right.
surprising that they're doing. Like, do you
I mean,
think
that
it's-
surprised me.
yeah. Do you think it's a big developer surprising, or do you think
Um,
it's like a new, like a developer taking a different turn surprising?
Yeah, well, like my other thought, I mean, like Bethesda's just been purchased by Xbox now, right?
Yeah.
So like maybe they're trying to make some crazy new plays for like rebranding under like the new Xbox, whatever it might be. So they're not just looked at like for Skyrim and like other Elder Scrolls games. Like they might be making a play for like that. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't really have too many
So-
developers just right the.
So my pitch, and it's
Pitch it.
weird because we're in this situation now, but if you would have asked me after The Witcher 3, who should make
Ooh.
a Knights of the Republic game, CD Projekt Red is the dream team. That is the
Yeah.
man, this would be perfect. Now,
Yeah,
jump to post Cyberpunk. it's tough because there's a chance. I don't think it's CG Project Red, but there is a chance that Star Wars, and then let's say if it was made a deal before anything happened with Cyberpunk, and it's a situation now that they're kind of in bed with them. But I don't know how I'd feel about that now. But playing The Witcher is the closest I've felt to playing Knights of the Old Republic, in my opinion, as far as the everything,
the side quests and everything.
Yeah, the world, the choices, and stuff like that. So that would be my dream one, and to me that's the reason that would be surprising, because everyone's so down on them. The fact that in like, let's say 6 months from now they go, oh yeah, we're making Star Wars, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
well, yeah, it's interesting with the whole CD Projekt Red stuff. I haven't followed it like too closely, but from my limited understanding of it, again, you guys might even correct me here, but I felt like a lot of what I was reading on it, like it seemed to be a lot of the like showrunners for the games and the producers and like the execs that were just like,
get this out there, hurry up.
Like get this game out there already. And like I feel like when the pressure of that, like it obviously takes away the quality of the finished product. Again, I didn't look too closely into it. There might have been a whole another can of worms that I don't even know about on why that game just had a kind of tripped on the at the start of the race on that exit. But yeah, but what you just laid out though, like comparing Knights of the Old Republic to Witcher 3, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Honestly, it's such a good like parallel. It's very much like similar type of depth in the world, and the way that it gives you free reign on decisions on places that you go that actually like affect the story. I feel like that really goes hand in hand with Knights of the Republic. So yeah, that's a good dream pick, definitely, Travis. But it definitely has a little asterisk.
Yeah.
After the last couple months.
It'd be interesting. So, Taylor, are you all in on that? You think this would be Ubisoft for the Knights of the Republic, or you think it's somewhere separate? And if so, where?
It doesn't strike me as a Ubisoft goal, to be honest. I feel like Ubisoft got the opportunity
That's too high for them. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say it's too high.
Below them.
Oh yeah.
No,
yeah,
I wouldn't
it's way
say,
too high.
I wouldn't
they don't
say
have the
it's high.
credibility, they don't
It's
have the
just
skill.
it's just the gameplay of the Old Republic. I don't think it's their kind of gameplay that they would dabble into. It's just that for them it's obviously I believe they said they're doing like an open world adventure, but I don't think that that's going to entail the Old Republic. I think it's going to be something completely different. And again, like it's just that kind of like turn-based open world RPG style with skill trees and everything like that. Like they do dabble in that, but again, if we're talking about them doing that same combat style and everything like that, I think Ubisoft is not going to touch that. They want to do their own new storyline and their own branch. Like they're so big on their storylines and their IPs that they can connect and everything together. So they're going to do something that they can all like splice in with, like, I kid you not, somehow Assassin's Creed. I can see the crossovers coming because Ubisoft loves doing their crossovers between all their games.
No, I don't want that.
Oh, no, well, they'll probably dabble in. I mean, you can get Assassin's Creed gear in Ghost Recon. You can get Division gear. Or
Star Wars is sacred, though. You don't want to do that shit, you know?
Well, yeah, but
Other than
look
Marvel,
at Disney.
no.
Disney's doing all that kind of stuff. You have it in The Sims now. You have Star Wars
Yeah, I
popping
guess
up in
so.
all these
Fuck.
different mediums. So it's only like a matter of time,
Assassin's
I
Creed.
guess. Not that I want it in Assassin's Creed, but hey, if I get that lightsaber wrist blade in the next Assassin's Creed game, like, you know, I'll shed like $20 on a pack for that. But
Oh yeah, you will. You'll spend a whole.
You're gonna
80.
shed more than just $20.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
for
put
sure.
both feet in the water. But again, if what company I think is gonna take it, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe Nintendo just wants to just dive into it.
And my
so
only
yeah,
follow was that I don't think it's gonna be turn based again. Do you? I could see it being
that's
like
what I was
Final
gonna
Fantasy
just bring up the
VII.
gameplay.
Yeah, where it could be like a mixture of them, but I don't think they'll go full on turn based anymore. I think
No,
that's,
I feel like the choice of doing that turn-based combat was just like with the limited, options that they had for gameplay at that time, because they do want to be more story driven and more like world exploring, or not necessarily world exploring, but I don't know what term you'd call that, but like I feel like the gameplay was kind of secondary in those games. I mean, I never played it like back in the day like you guys did. I actually jumped back in after you guys were talking about it on the podcast because everything about it just sounded awesome. And then when I got into it, I was just, yeah, this is dated, but like the story holds up so well.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I feel like the gameplay would be kind of I feel like it would draw people away. Just like if they're doing like an E3 demo. I mean, E3 is kind of gone the way of the dodo bird, but what other demo they do, I feel like, oh yeah, look how beautiful this game looks, and then it just like goes to a hallway, and then like your character's just frozen. And it's like, what do you do? It's just like, oh, that's the game we're getting. I can get that on my iPod in the App Store.
Your iPod, still rocking the iPod. Jessica, you clearly don't have anything to add here. For a while, I wasn't sure you hadn't moved so well if you were frozen like me for a second or whatnot, but
she was laughing earlier. I figured she was going at me.
She's playing the Old Republic on her
Oh, are you?
Right now.
You enjoying it?
This gameplay is so next gen.
No, laughing at memes, not memes that were sent in our group because it's been kind of weak today, but.
Wow.
What? It's not been weak. Kirklin dropped a
Are you kidding
doozy
me?
in there.
That tomato one? That one had me a week.
So good.
See, it was
The
so bad I don't
tornado
even know which
one?
one you're talking about.
Tomato. The steward
Tomato.
of
The
Gondor.
steward, yeah, he's behind the tree. Like, that's so good.
I missed this one. I'll throw a laugh emoji on there, but it's tough. I'm still recovering from this one, the Wanda one. Like I can't laugh when I'm just thinking about Wanda.
That one didn't hit
Maximoff.
me as hard
Yeah,
as it obviously did for Travis.
No, the cheese in the bottom of the oven got me. That was the last good one that got me.
Yeah.
in
Oh
mind.
no, Taylor knows what I'm talking about. This isn't about hitting me in the funny bones. This is hitting me in a different
The other
I'm
bone.
not about. This isn't about laughing, which it is laughing. But my goodness, like, come on now. But no, I think there's some good shit here. Like number 6, the good vibe. Like, come on, you gotta know what that is. Like, there's so much good stuff there. Yeah, go check out our video, and yeah, nothing can beat that one this week. That's funny and good stuff too. Anything else to end this cast? It's after 9. I can't go
It's
too.
funny.
It's not
and
after
good
9.
stuff,
Yeah,
Does
it's not after 9. I can't go too far.
Do any of you play Rusty Lake? Is there any point in me bringing
what?
that up at all? Rusty Lake games?
Never
No,
heard of it.
I know.
like the Cube Escape and things like that nature. No,
No.
okay, then I won't bother bringing that up because no one will care.
Okay.
Is this like your pitch of who's gonna do the Star Wars game?
Rusty Lake games. Dude, she wasn't even listening at
You
us.
tied it
Come on
back.
now.
You tied it back. Look at that.
I mean, if you want it to be on mobile only,
Oh, okay.
Wow. No, thank you. I fucking.
they do have it on PC. They're like point and click games where you have to try and figure out what to do next.
Exactly
and,
like the Old Republic.
you know what? So maybe. You know what? I'm gonna send you guys some information. You guys can check it out. Some of them are free. Some of them are only like 99 cents, which is a stretch for Taylor. I found playing Pokemon Go with him.
No, I bit the bullet.
Oh wow! I just called you a cheapo.
99 cents? That adds
I
up.
won't even spend $45 for a movie.
Anyway, no, I don't got anything else then.
Okay, well, I guess that's it. That's 377 in the books. There, it was a fun one. We talked about controversies, talked about the movie, talked about Wet Toes. We got a whole bunch of stuff.
Did we end up actually recording this episode? Because it's not telling me that we're recording.
We've been streaming.
No, I meant,
Kirkland said he recorded. I hope.
Yes, I'm recording.
are you sure?
He hits
There's
it
no
now.
notification.
yes, I'm recording. I actually think he didn't record. Actually,
I don't
Is it-
think
I
so.
thought I did, and then Taylor gave me permission.
I gave you
Oh,
permission.
I guess
oh,
not.
but then you never re-record probably after he gave you permission. But that's fine.
Yeah,
We
no,
have the
that's
double
fine.
tracks. We
I
should
got
be good.
Zencaster.
If not, then we just sat here for 2 hours, and you know what? We talked with friends as each other. You know,
That's
we
true.
caught
Good
up.
times.
Who is fuck James Potter? Is that you, Travis?
What? Of course not. Actually, yeah. Fuck James Potter. Fucking swine. Screw him.
What does he say
Swine.
to Snape? He's like, wants to see me take off Snippy's trousers. Is that what he says
Yeah,
to him?
he's such a fucking asshole.
Hey man, that guy shot the chosen sperm.
What?
He gave us the chosen one.
She had the chosen,
chosen sperm.
eggs. He was just a fucking donor. It could have been anybody. You could
Could have
have
been
had.
Neville.
Yeah, I could. What? Neville would have.
Neville
Neville would
went
have
back
fucked
in
Lily
time.
Potter. Yeah, with the time
No,
turner.
Neville could have been the chosen one.
Hey, Hattie, you got a big old milf there. That's my Neville. So
That was
That's not
interesting.
Neville.
yeah, you're right. It's not Neville. It's Seamus, whatever that fucking guy's name is. That guy who's just like an asshole to
yeah.
Potter when everything's going to shit, and then like halfway through he's like, Hetty, you're right. I was wrong. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
fuck off, kid.
I'm
like,
sorry,
all-
Seamus.
yeah, I would have just like if I was Harry, be like, oh, that's okay, and then like. About a cadaver right in front of everyone to send a message, like don't
Hey
fucking
man, his
question
family
me
was
again.
like being tortured. Okay,
Whose?
I Seamus.
They deserved it because he's a little shit. He should have believed him.
My
What do you
God.
mean his family's being tortured?
He was like,
Whoa.
they were like getting questioned or something, and that's why he was all pissed off at Harry because he's like, we got to just hand him in.
Oh, because his dad's a muggle, mum's a witch.
Dad's a uncle.
His dad's a munkle.
Dad's my uncle. Oh, it definitely is after
Bit of a
him.
shock for him when he found out.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh boy. His dad's my uncle. Oh man. Okay, well I
That
think
was
that's the high point to end it right there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in to this newscast. We'll be back in a couple days with
We're recording
WandaVision.
now.
Yeah,
Forget the outro.
good job, you fucker. We'll be back with WandaVision. Bunch of stuff coming up. Thank you very much for tuning in. When you hear from us next, it'll not be boring.
Ciao.
Bye.